So you've got the gold all loaded onto the carts. You're taking it to the vault, and you wheel it through the bank. Scott has come back out of his offices and is kind of hovering around. You got tarps over this stuff, so Scott may or may not know what's under the tarps. He kind of hovers and floats around. Thomas Thibodeau is with you. He's walking with you. When he sees Scott, he just kind of motions him back, and Scott goes back into his office to do whatever he's going to do. You get to the service elevator, which is this ridiculously industrial-looking elevator. It's got big chrome sides, and it's a big, heavy-duty elevator. It says something like 10,000-pound limit on it. And he looks at it and goes, "We're going to have to do this in 2 trips because you have about 13,000 pounds of gold."
Right. I remember that.
So you roll it out there. I'm not even sure you can get all the gold on the cart. You probably got half of it on the carts because there's about 5 or 6 carts, but they're pretty full. You roll it towards the elevator and put it on there and ride with the gold down. Takes you into the vault. You're not sure how far you go beneath the ground. Probably not very far. Maybe 10, 20 feet. You don't want to go very far underneath the ground in New Orleans, or you're going to hit water pretty quick. The elevator opens, and here's this huge marble and granite room, and there's iron bars in the front. And at the back, behind these iron bars, there's this big silver, what looks like a vault. It's closed. He walks up, Thomas Thibodeau walks up and unlocks the metal bars that are there, and you guys start wheeling the gold in there. He leads the way to the vault, walks up to the vault, looks like he maybe punches in a code. Then there looks like there's maybe a handprint scanner, which is pretty high tech for 2010. And then he reaches over and spins the big silver wheel on the vault, and the vault kind of swings open a little bit. He pushes it out of the way, and it moves, soundlessly and very slowly. And you can see that this vault is probably about a foot thick. It's serious. Inside,
be like the most fun and satisfying part, like actually opening the vault, just spinning the wheel.
Spinning the wheel and having it just kind of gradually slide open.
Being weighted just right so it
actually
But he goes in there and he says, "Look, we've got some safe deposit boxes there. Obviously, you're not going to need those. There is a table in the back where you can kind of unload the gold. And so you push the carts in, begin unloading the gold. And it's kind of stacking up. He looks at it and he says, let's just stack it in the corner over there for now.
It'd probably be a lot better if it was like any consistent pieces instead of just what looks like an old stove.
In pieces, right? Yeah. Well, they still carved them up pretty regularly, but yeah.
There's going to be a couple of irregular shapes in there, but I was thinking, do they have like scales and stuff back there? So
No. And for the scales of this, you're going to need one of those big scales. And he does have big scales and things like that,
right.
but yeah, he said they're not back there in the vault, so they're back there.
How much does a bar of gold weigh?
Now remember, you don't have bars. These are pieces. You get a small piece, it's around 10, 20 pounds.
It can weigh whatever you want.
Yeah. She can cut you off. What are you? A shaving of gold to take wear for earrings.
I would like a statue made after me.
There you go. Let me get your craftsmanship.
In the vault, like you can do whatever you want.
Whoa, Thomas freaks out because you just drawn your sword. But anyway, so you load the gold into the corner. Thomas says he'll clear out one of the larger boxes and make room for them. And he says, but it's probably going to be several deposit boxes. Take the carts back up, get the second load of gold, bring them down, stack them out in the corner again. You can see that Thomas is kind of making calculations, and he goes, "That's a lot of gold. That's a lot of money. You guys are going to need to open accounts."
Done?
I remember that.
Yes.
Done?
He says, "Look, I'm going to go up there and get Scott and get him to help me open accounts for you. Realize we're a bank, so we really can't move this stuff. I mean, we have to be on the up and up about moving your gold and selling it and liquidating it, which I can do that in a lot of ways that will minimize your tax burden. So probably the easiest way is going to be to set up some corporations, maybe some LLCs that are going to be gold trading, or maybe a treasure hunters LLC, and we can do it that way. And then I can start selling the gold off on the market, but it's going to take a little while. Did you find anything? Where did you get all this gold?
We're going into business. Boys.
You would never believe us.
Yeah, we followed a map.
Oh, okay. Well, do you have anything else you want to store in the bank? We have a wooden chest with iron bands and gemstones.
I know. We have all the gemstones, so
Gemstones, yeah.
we have gemstones as well.
Where?
In the truck.
Yeah.
Who wants to do this?
I'll saunter off and get
Okay, because he can carry that by himself.
Yeah, you really can't. You
All right.
probably put the gemstones on a cart. Honestly,
Okay.
I don't think
okay.
you probably wouldn't leave them with the truck driver. You know.
Not really,
Yeah,
but-
no.
Yeah, probably not.
I assumed they
trust
were
them
here,
that
but
much.
Yeah, the truck driver has seemed to be on the up and up, but again, yeah.
Never can tell.
You head back out. Well, you pull out probably the wooden chest. It's about this big, and you open it up, and he goes, "Wow, that's a lot of gemstones. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to get those appraised. Have you had them appraised?
No.
I've given them some
Wait.
praise.
Yeah, not appraised. Yeah,
Yeah, no, we
Does not
haven't
smell
had
the
time.
like, pontoon train rolling off.
yeah, you're right.
I'm
She
just gonna
burps out even
pick
your
one
butt.
out.
Our first priority was to take them somewhere that they would be safe.
Right. That's a good priority because that much money wandering around the city is going to draw some unwanted attention for sure.
So you say Miranda's just going to pick one real
Yeah,
quick?
yeah.
How would Miranda decide? Would it be based on color? Size?
It would be based on how.
The closest one to you?
No. It would be based on one that I think would be valuable enough to pay my rent, but also a small enough value that BJ could cash it out at the pawn
She
shop.
does live above a pawn shop.
Right.
I can't argue with that.
It would be based on my idea
Right.
of the value of
I love
I
the
realized
pawn
the
shop
gems-
owner is one who cracks the case because he's an OG. Keep on coming in each month
Right.
Yeah.
for payment.
Why is she giving
Why should
gems?
he be in gems?
That's so
International
strange.
Yeah. Now
jewelry
you guys don't have to leave the gems here at all if you want. I mean, they're small enough and light enough. Honestly, you could bury them underneath your,
I have that secret hidey
I
hole.
mean,
Yeah,
I
hold
think
the high
that we
hole.
could take a clutch of them for
and
For
put them in your pockets.
security.
Take a little portion.
I'll just
Yeah.
refill my sock again.
Yeah. Everybody else taking off socks and filling
I
with
love how you
gemstones.
did that though. So it's like, I mean, you could take like clutch, and then it's like I just stuck it right into your pockets while you're
Double
talking.
handful. Each of you could take a double handful of gems, and there'd still probably be half the chest.
Yeah, yeah,
full.
yeah.
I'm gonna,
I'll do that.
I'm gonna ask him if, when we open those accounts, if he could give me a bank bag. You know, the leather bank pouches that you can
You can get
you
pretty
know.
much anything you
Yeah,
want.
sure.
Yeah,
sure.
no, like I'd like a, and I'm just gonna fill one of those with
I
the
want a
gems.
hoodie.
No hoodie. A hoodie.
Bank hoodie.
I don't think they do
hoodie.
bank hoodies.
Yes,
No.
ma'am.
But they do have a
Make one.
toaster.
I don't know if they have bank hoodies, but they
I
would
wanna put my
definitely
gems
have
in the
hats.
toaster.
They
That's
would
a
use
bad
bank caps
Yeah.
or the
If you
hoodies.
want
Those
a-
are the
you want a
best things.
polo,
But they
Yeah,
have
cozies,
colors in
yeah.
them,
Yeah.
Scott, give them your polo. No, I'm kidding. So you guys each grab a double handful of the gems, kind of shove them in your
I'm also
pockets.
taking some gold bar back with me.
Maybe a little one. Anybody else want to take a gold bar?
I'm thinking I want to take like
I'm just
30
gonna take
pounds of
gemstones.
gold with me.
Okay, you just where are you going to put that? You
I don't
in
know.
your arms?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't-
And in another bank bag.
Oh,
Come
right,
bring a
gotcha.
bank bag.
Yeah.
Borrow my duffel.
Yeah.
I think
Well, you can
there's-
grab a handful
30
of
pounds
those.
of gold would be more than a bank bag of gold, wouldn't it? I have no idea.
Gold is
No.
heavy.
30
Okay.
pounds of gold is about this much.
Make that 2 bank bags? All right.
So think like honeydew melon size. This is going to be 30 pounds of gold.
Okay.
So yeah, you grab it. So a few pieces of the stove and kind of put one in each hand. You've got the gemstones in your pockets, and the rest of you each grab kind of a handful of gemstones. Thomas Thibodeau's kind of looking at you guys, and he just kind of shrugs. He says, "Look, I've got a good appraiser friend. He's very reputable, trustworthy. I can get him to come in and look at the rest of the gems that are here. He probably would be able to actually help me move the gold as well for you, since gold is typically used in jewelry and some other areas like that. And he may have some connections." Now, he says, "We're a bank, okay? there are fees for these kind of services. So I just want to be upfront about that. I don't want you, when we start charging fees for these things. He says to liquidate the gold, set up the LLC so we can minimize the tax burden and some things like that. It's probably going to be about 10% of the value, 5% of the value. He says, but I'll let you know once we find out how many hours this takes. He says, but the big thing about it is I don't want you to think you're going to get all your money at once. He says, we're going to have to liquidate this over time. If we liquidate it over time, especially, then we can definitely probably fly below the radar of the federal government to the point where they're not going to start auditing me or you. And so that's what we're looking for.
Audits are bad.
Yeah, audits are bad.
I mean, we'd still have $270 million.
Would we better off just registering that we had this and paying the tax off the top?
Well, see, the problem is since I assume you found this gold.
Totally legal.
The problem is that the federal government, when it comes to this much gold, might decide that it's actually owed to them. They have a tendency to sometimes confiscate treasure hunters' gold or to send it to its rightful owners. Now,
The government.
well, or demand that it be put into a museum or something along those lines. So
Or demand a third of the amount.
well,
You
actually,
guys
they
say
normally demand
national
about
treasure?
half. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
which is still a half of 300 million or so is still a lot of money for you guys, but
But it's going to the government, and we don't want that.
that's right.
Exactly. How dare they?
That's right.
Yeah.
And so he says,
Okay.
we're going to try and do this in a way that'll keep us below the radar so we can maximize the amount that you keep and definitely not have anybody start nosing around looking to see where all this gold came from. I can probably move $1 million worth of gold a month pretty easily. He says, but that'll mean what I'll do is I'll move the gold, liquidate it and sell it, take my fees off, and then I'll deposit the rest of it into your bank accounts that we're going to set up for you. Unless you want to have a joint bank account set up under a limited liability company that you could all draw from. It's up to
do
you.
both options, where we
You could.
get
Part to
individual
us and
bank
part to
accounts and then
LLC?
also a joint company account for
Sure, absolutely. We can set that up.
future treasure hunting
Right.
expenses
Well,
or other
Right.
business
we can even
expenses.
set up a charity
wink,
fund.
wink.
That's not a bad idea too.
And we don't all
well,
have to.
we'll
Yeah,
set
I
up a
like
charity
that.
fund because that's going to be one of the ways we minimize our tax burden, and we're definitely going to probably, since Deacon Fontainebleau was the one who connected us together, we'll probably make a Catholic charity one of our primary beneficiaries of that. It
Yeah.
seems
We
reasonable.
know a few.
Yeah,
Now, is that $1 million
You
each
said it.
or $1 million split among us?
split among you.
Okay, good.
employees of the charity, and then we just give away 10%, and then we keep, and that's how we get the taxes.
That's right.
So
He's not wrong.
I'm sticking with him.
We
He's
could
not wrong.
start a religion.
No.
And then
No.
I mean,
No.
You know what I'm saying?
This
Not
is
for me to
heresy.
worship.
This is heresy. That's still heresy for somebody else to worship. Bad Miranda.
Like, well, I'm
No,
practically
it-
a god anyway.
Whoa.
we just worship both.
We need intervention.
Church of both.
Followers of the dragon.
Yeah, that's right.
Children of the dragon. There you
I'm
go.
going
Dragon,
to
yeah.
your priest friend, whose name I can't remember suddenly.
So
Deacon
you,
Fontainebleau.
I'm going to Deacon Fontainebleau.
you guys head up the elevator.
I just thought about
I'm a
it, starting
good-
When you get
back
out there,
up. Just
Thibodeau
thought
calls
about
for
it.
Scott. Scott shows up and he says, "Look, I need you to get these people to fill out the paperwork for personal checking and savings accounts, and I'm going to work on setting up an LLC and a charitable foundation for them in my office. So get the paperwork done." And so Scott says, "Yes, sir. I'll get him on it right now." He goes over behind his desk, prints out a bunch of papers, and hands each of you a stack of them, maybe 2 or 3 pages. And he says, "I've got pens, and have a chair over there if you would like." It takes you about 45 minutes to fill out all the paperwork, make sure everything's witnessed and signed correctly. He inputs it into the computer. It's now about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, by the way, on Sunday.
And we have not slept.
You have not slept. You're
Speak
starting
for yourself.
Yeah, you slept for a couple hours.
that's right.
That's right.
I took a nap.
You guys are feeling a little punchy, but you're kind of on this high from the gold, but it's starting to wear off. Thibodeau comes out and says, all right, I think I've got everything in motion. The LLC will be set up probably Monday evening. The charitable foundation probably Tuesday morning is when the earliest I can get it set up. And I've made some phone calls, and we're going to start moving the gold as soon as possible. You should start seeing deposits into the LLC this week and into your personal bank accounts as well. And I'll send you an itemized list of all the fees that are going to be charged. He says, but you should be pretty happy with them. So he hands you your new bank cards, which are, the little cards. Mm-hmm. He also hands you the checkbook for the LLC, which does not have a bank card. It's got a checkbook, one of those, weird looking checkbooks that, has all the big checks in it and stuff like that. He hands it to each of you, and he says, well, is there anything else you need?
I'd like to buy some shares of Amazon.
I'll check into that. Yeah.
Hey, what's that? Round in the
Little book company.
No.
There's a book company.
Little book company does online work.
It was,
a Kindle. Yeah.
Yeah, we knew about that back then.
No.
I felt like I had one when my brother graduated high school, which was
May have
2010,
been,
but maybe not. Maybe it was the year after.
No. Back then.
I'm just gonna take a handful of Dum Dums out of a bowl.
Help yourself.
Yeah.
Take a what?
So
I just feel like I've earned these.
he's
Like put
giving
them
you-
between my fingers, like Wolverine.
he's giving you each bank bags for your gems, and 2 bank bags to you for your gems and your gold. Where do you want to go now? It's about 3 or 4 o'clock. Yeah, you guys are worn
I'm
out,
tired.
slap
Can you take me
worn
home?
out.
A bath, a
Y'all
good bath,
wanna
and
meet tonight
that'd be
for
nice.
breakfast?
Yeah, you guys been swimming in
Meet
Pontchartrain.
tonight for breakfast?
Yep.
Or meet in the morning for
maybe
breakfast?
like a deep
Well,
scrub.
yeah, we'll probably sleep all the way through tonight too, huh?
Yeah.
Given how tired we are,
Well,
because
it's
it's
le-
like 2, 3
It's
in the
about
afternoon.
It's about 4. It's about 4 in the afternoon.
4 in the
Yeah.
afternoon.
And we've been
Okay,
tromping
yeah.
around the island and carrying lots of heavy gold.
Well, remember, you guys went out at I think it was around 8 o'clock. You've been up all day long, and now you've literally almost been up 24 hours straight without sleep. You're probably
Yeah.
closing down on. Oh no, actually more than that. Almost 36 hours straight.
Dela
yeah.
will pass out like.
Yeah, you guys are getting really
momentarily,
tired.
so.
I assume everybody rides with you. You drop them off at various places. Anybody want to do anything specific before they go to bed? Because you are all beat.
Test the traps.
Lock the
Yeah,
door,
they're working.
and I'm gonna put the gold somewhere I think is safe, like maybe under a cabinet or
Okay. In the
back of my closet.
Okay, back in your closet.
Behind some like shoes and stuff until I
dirty
think
clothes.
of something better.
Underneath your shoes, yeah. Anybody else going to do anything to kind of hide their gemstones or anything like that?
I don't think Bunk is. That's
Oh, to hide them?
Hide them, yeah. Before you go to bed. Because you guys are still tired. Even with your 2-hour nap, you're still tired.
No, I definitely.
Yeah.
I'm sticking it under my pillow.
It works. Well, it's just gemstones. You got the bag,
Yeah.
you can put it right underneath the pillow, easy. Yeah.
I'm not thinking of these in a monetary sense, but I'm putting them in like a little box along with the rest of my setup for
Right.
things.
Yeah. You go into your place and there's all the armor making stuff strewn everywhere where you had stopped when you had gone out.
Oh, right.
Treasure hunting, yeah. Yeah.
I'm just gonna put mine in a clean sock.
Mhm.
Put my dirty sock in the laundry, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll just tie it into one of those.
Like that?
And yeah, and I'll just put it in the bottom of my scroll case
Okay.
that
Your sword's it?
that I keep my
Should
sword
fit that
thing
pretty
in,
easily.
and I'll
yeah.
just keep that there until I wake up and figure out something better.
Yeah, I gotcha. That's not a bad idea. I mean, a sword of the cross on top of it. Mm, okay.
I'm not
much
going
gonna mess
anywhere
with
without
it.
that.
Yeah,
so.
right. Yeah.
I put mine in my shipping container.
Underneath it. Yeah. Yeah. And you guys all head to bed. Anybody setting alarms in particular, or are you just gonna sleep?
No.
What day is this?
This is Sunday.
What
It'll be
year is it?
Monday when you wake up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sleep. I don't need
Okay.
alarm.
I'm not gonna sleep long though.
You are or not?
No,
Okay.
I'm gonna get back to working on
The bathroom?
the
Downstairs?
bathroom and moving on to whatever else is next.
You were going to get ready to. You were going to hire a guy, I think, to put some walls up so you could have a bedroom downstairs. I think is what that
Okay.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that then too.
Cool. All right. So
I don't need much sleep.
No, you don't. You don't.
So.
You get that inhuman recovery or something
Yeah,
like that.
so I don't have to
you
sleep
kind of
too
shrug
much.
that stuff off. Most of you sleep pretty long. You're used to sleeping long hours anyway. This is normal sleep time. You're up around probably probably about 6 the next morning, Bolt. Grab your cell phone, make a few phone calls, get some contractors heading in. One of the guys says he can be there later that afternoon to take some measurements. The other guy says the plumber says he'll be in there, probably tomorrow morning to start putting plumbing in and getting the bathroom set up for you. He says he wants to know what you're looking for and things like that. What kind of, do you want a shower installed, bathrooms, toilets? He'll come over and get your information and write some stuff down and send you some pictures of what he's looking at Lowe's. And so he says he'll be over on Tuesday morning. So you pretty much finished the demolition that you can. Anything else you want to do?
I haven't put cameras in, have I?
You have not. You could probably go downtown, buy a few of those, and wire them up yourself. Do you have craftsmanship?
I do not.
I don't think that electronics. I think it's just under craftsmanship. Breaking, building, fixing. Yeah.
I am very good at breaking.
However, I think you're trying to fix right now.
Yes.
You might want to get your friend to maybe at least supervise when you wire this stuff up. I mean, you have a craftsmanship of 0, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I can always just, so as not to disturb him since he started working on a project for me,
Yeah.
I'll just get somebody to come out and install
Okay.
them. I reckon.
You make a phone call. You've heard there's a security service downtown that can set up, different cameras for you and stuff like that. Probably install some better locks as well. Probably not a bad idea to consider some deadbolts. Do you a good job there, something like that.
Okay.
So you
I
call
will say
them.
I find the idea of Volt being an electrician very funny. Like I can already see like the little.
Works fine. I don't know what's the problem with you guys. It's fine. This is just electricity.
Great.
Yeah. Guy says he can be down there in about an hour. So he shows up in about an hour. It's probably 9 o'clock in the morning. You're probably his first stop of the day. He starts, looking around, asking you questions about how many cameras you want. Starts talking about deadbolts and making the place a lot more secure. Gives you a price of around $4,000. You're thinking you could probably handle that pretty easily. What's your resources at?
3.
Yeah, you can handle that. It's going to put a little damper on your resources, but not bad, and you'll definitely be able to cover it back up.
Yeah, resources should all be like,
Yeah.
like a 12 or
Oh,
something.
speaking
That's
of,
a gym.
because of the gold, everybody's resources goes up by 1 level, just for free. You're welcome.
I got a 4 now.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind.
I
You-
also have a 4 now.
Yeah. Oh wow, you got a
Nice.
resources of 3. I didn't realize.
I have a 2 now.
Way.
I have.
I like to
three.
believe that the paranetters help out when they can.
Probably can. Yeah. So everybody's resources goes up by 1. And you don't have to worry about whether it,
I was about
The
to
pyramid.
ask.
the pyramid thing. Yeah, don't worry about that.
I'll put like a special mark so I remember that it was
Yeah.
special.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. But the security guy takes his measurements, tells you he'll come out the next day and install all the cameras. He just is getting ready to leave, and
Uh-oh.
the guy who's going to come do your remodeling inside for your bedroom shows up.
Okay.
He takes some measurements, asks you if you want windows put in, which you probably don't. Asks you if you want anything else special put into the bedroom. Remember, he's going to do it on the bottom floor, right next to the bathroom, for all that matter.
Anything special? No. Yeah.
He says, based on what you've told him, it's going to be a couple $1,000s to probably do that. Of course, that's just to basically set up the flooring, he's going to put a ceiling in and basically put in sheetrock. Now, it's not going to go all the way to the ceiling of the warehouse because that would be weird. It kind of goes to where the bottom of the office is and then comes out a little bit from that. He's going to taper it so it kind of has a nice vaulted look to it. Anyway, it'll look nice. And he says it's probably going to be about $3,000 for that.
Okay.
He says, okay, he'll start getting the materials. He says he'll start working on it the next day as well. And of course, the plumber's coming on Tuesday. It's probably around 9 o'clock. The rest of you are starting to wake up and start to stir around. You've had a good 12 hours of sleep, is what it is. You're probably, making coffee, doing toast, maybe pouring bowls of cereal, that kind of stuff. So you're all beginning to stir and wake up. Yeah.
Seeing if I could find The Blind Side on TV.
Yeah. No. Dang. Not at all. Jody, you're waking up and you feel awful. I mean, you're like,
Awfully powerful.
Your head stopped up, and as you wake up, you realize you got this terrible cough. You sit up and it's just phlegm and yucky stuff, and you're just really, really congested in your chest. Head stopped up, sinuses are pounding. You're not feeling well at all.
I'm gonna get up and throw some clothes on and grab my money and not the my normal money.
Yeah, I don't accept gems.
And I'm gonna walk down to the I think it's Walgreens.
Yeah, there's one close by.
I'm gonna walk down to Walgreens and get my usual accoutrement of
Well, you don't get sick very often because
congestant pills and.
Well, you don't get sick very often because
Spectrum.
wizards have a constitution that kind of prevents that kind of stuff. So it's a little surprising to be sick. But you go grab the sinus stuff, some cough medicine, all the different things.
Gallon of orange juice.
Right, and head back. You're still feeling pretty puny. You go back to your house, pour yourself some orange juice, kind of cook some breakfast, take a few pills, and you feel marginally better, but not that good. The rest of you, it's 9 o'clock or so. What would you guys like to do?
Just thinking about the fact that in the Dresden universe, all of those things actually could just be ingredients for a potion.
Yeah, that's right. What you need? You need him to make you a potion.
No, I just thought it was funny. Because I understand where Kyla gets it now. Anytime I open the fridge, I just see a full thing of orange juice.
Oh, yeah,
I'm like, Kyla, you sick?
That's right.
Yep, just making sure I'm not.
Yeah, that's right. Lots of vitamin C. You gotta have the C. So you're doing anything? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll get up and I'm gonna take out the map.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna kind of just look over it, see all the new additions I've added, the ley line things. And I don't really know about the paranetters though, right? That's kind of my purview thing.
You could know about them. He's probably mentioned them in passing. You just need a computer. Which you can afford now.
Oh yeah. I'll go downstairs and see if there's a laptop in them.
You head downstairs. What was your guy's name that owns the pawn shop? Was it Reggie?
It's so funny. It was like, I could use a
Reggie's
thing. Just go downstairs.
War buddy.
Oh, that's right.
I wrote it downstairs. I keep wanting to say BJ because the thing was called.
It is BJ.
I think it was BJ, yeah.
Yeah, it's BJ.
Okay.
BJ's pawn shop. You head downstairs, kind of stumble into the pawn shop. You kind of get your cup of coffee, probably your, maybe hoodie on or something like that, sweatpants and a t-shirt. And BJ says, "Whoa, sleeping in today, huh, Miranda? What can I do you for?"
Yeah, I had a really long day and night. Do you have a laptop with internet capabilities?
You want Windows or Mac?
Windows.
Okay. He says, "Yeah, I've got one I took in trade about a week ago or so. It looks kind of on the top shelf. Pulls down this little black case, unzips it. Looks like it's a Sony Vaio, which, if you remember back then, was actually a pretty good one." He says, "You buy it or just borrowing?"
What about a trade? And I pull out the gemstone that I picked out.
What do you pull? What color? Give me a color.
It's just a clear white, diamond.
Okay. Little one, big one. How big are we talking?
I would have picked it.
Big your fingers would have apart.
Yeah, I would have picked a decently, not alarmingly large.
Maybe like a carat or two. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Something that's nice,
Yeah.
but not what the heck nice,
Yeah. He looks at it and goes, "Is that a diamond? Can I see that?"
I think it is, yeah.
He takes it and he pulls out his little jeweler's glass and puts it underneath there and he kind of looks at it and he goes, "Huh. It doesn't have any registration marks on it. You find this you get it from an old piece of jewelry or something like that?"
No, it was just kind of loosely lying,
Oh, okay.
and
He says, "Yeah, I think this is a diamond." He says, "I'm pretty sure it is."
I said the whole thing, but he was talking, so I didn't lie.
He goes, well, okay, so trade for
the laptop and maybe, the rest of it could go towards my rent if they're...
Yeah, absolutely. Are you sure? That seems like it's a little in my favor, Look, I'll tell you what, I'll throw in the laptop. And let me give you maybe. Do you have a DVD player or a TV?
I have a VHS player with the TV upstairs.
Well, let me give you a DVD player so you can watch TVs
Perfect.
or something. And that's a little more square. And so he hands you the little black case and he says, "Yeah, we're good for this month on rent. Maybe part
Do you
of
have a
next month."
DVD? I don't have any DVDs to go in the DVD.
Yeah, grab one from the wall. It's yours.
Is National Treasure over there?
It is. It is.
Grab National Treasure on
Actually,
DVD.
both of them are on over there.
Ooh, super. I'll just
He
be
said,
like,
"Yeah,
I
you'll take it."
Okay, cool.
This is a real diamond?
I think so.
He goes, "Wow."
If it's not, I'll give you the stuff back.
Oh yeah,
later.
yeah. No, I trust you, Miranda. But I'm gonna call a friend.
Pretty sure that wasn't around the
Crazy.
80s.
I didn't think so.
Well, we're 2010.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Oh, you're right. What
Yeah.
am I thinking about? The
I don't know.
80s?
I don't know.
He says, "Yeah, I'm gonna give
That's
it
why I
a
said the
praise."
Black Pack in, like, 2009.
I think we're good. I think we're real good.
Okay.
So
cool.
he goes over, grabs the phone, kind of calls a friend. It's on the phone for a little while. He says, "Yeah, okay. Well, hey, enjoy the DVDs there, Miranda."
Thanks.
You head back upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay. You open the computer, plug it in. This one, it does not have Wi-Fi. There's no Wi-Fi in the shop anyway.
Oh.
So you plug in a little Ethernet cable, and there's an Ethernet jack in this place. So you hook up the Ethernet jack to it, and so
I'm on the internet, guys. Ooh, what's AOL chat room?
I think AOL was gone by this time.
Yeah,
wasn't,
yeah,
should've
you're right.
That was 90s. So yeah, you're like, okay, cool. You start surfing the internet. It's 2010, so a lot of the stuff that you remember was there. Actually, I think Amazon was doing pretty well in 2010 at that point.
It was established.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty well established. You're just kind of surfing around.
Ask Jeeves.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It was not Google. What was the one with the dog?
Fetch.
No, it wasn't Fetch. It was. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Swag bucks.
Yeah. So
You're
you're
like bingo or something like that.
yeah. So you're surfing the internet for a couple hours, probably checking out all the different websites because you haven't been anything in particular you're looking for.
Well, I'm trying to tap into the Paranet.
You start typing to the Paranet. You find several sites that call themselves the Paranet. The only one that seems really legit. I need you to make me an investigation check.
Investigation.
Right.
That plus 3.
Okay, oh, you're good.
So
Even
3.
You find this site. It looks like it's Paranet, and it has a message board where you can leave it, messages, information, a bunch of different threads that have been started by people chatting about different things. You're going to have to make an account and then be accepted by the administrator. So
Oh, okay.
you
Can I look at the message boards
No.
without interacting?
no,
Oh, okay.
you can't. Everything's kind of locked down. They want you to be kind of
Make
checked
an
out.
account. Lowercase x, uppercase x,
Oh,
underscore,
good lord.
So you
holy blade.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, you have to have an
Something
email
like
address.
that.
Do you have an email address?
Yeah.
Okay,
something,
you probably do. Yeah,
Probably like
probably the Catholic Church has one for you.
Miranda is cute. 82 at
Gmail.com.
Yahoo.com.
Yeah, yahoo.com.
Something like
There
that.
you go. Hotmail.com.
Yeah, Hotmail.
Yeah, there you go.
Sure.
From when you had your Xbox, right? So you set up your account and kind of surf some more. About 30 minutes goes by and you get an email. And so you look and, or what is it? You've got mail. And so, well, no, that's not what it would say. And so you open it up and yeah, your account's been approved.
Nice. Okay.
Let's hop over here. All right, so you're looking for something to watch on TV. Anything in particular you're doing?
First thought was just kind of roll around in bed for a while, but
You can do that. You don't have to get up right now. You can stay in bed as long as you want.
no, it's a weekday.
Right, true.
Progress. Progress.
Progress must make progress.
I'll get up. Probably find something to eat real quick. Mindlessly just kind of flipping through channels. And probably next thing I would do would be to quickly try to make some kind of order of all the pieces and parts that I have scattered around the little work area because I kind of left in the middle of that.
All right, so you start
His name was Lou.
assembling the different parts of the armor, kind of getting it put together a little bit. Probably spend 2 or 3 hours working on that, and you get it pretty close to being finished. You've got a little bit more finish work to do. Tack down any seams. Make sure everything's glued down. Probably do some test work on it, making sure. And he'll need to come over and try that and make sure it doesn't come loose or anything like that. But yeah, you're pretty close to having it finished, so you're pretty happy with that.
I mean, large mannequin can only go so far.
That's
see how it actually does on the thing.
So it takes till about noon for you to get it pretty much to the final stages to where you're ready for the final stages. All right, Bunk. What are you up to next?
I am probably still sleeping.
Okay.
And then I'll get up and probably practice the trombone. And
Okay.
Just kind of go about my usual.
All right. Probably make some black coffee,
Like,
hang
get
out.
my coffee, hang out.
Call and see if you got any gigs for
try to
the
set up
weekend.
Some, set up
Right.
some stuff. And just kind of doing trying to get the weekend set.
Right, gotcha. Takes you a couple hours to do that. Run through your trombone practice routine. You get a couple gigs set up for this weekend, so you're pretty ready to go on that. It's probably around 1. That's about it. Good toss. It's around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Jody, you're still feeling terrible. Really, really
I
bad.
don't have Vicks here. I don't have Vicks there.
You're
Listlessly watching TV.
Yeah, you're still not really. None of you have heard from Dela. Dela has not, contacted any of you. Are any of you going to contact any of the group?
I am going to have to call Volt. Since I'm entering test
The
stage.
final stages.
But before that, because it's been about 3 days since I last checked the Paranet, so I'd probably check on it again. I imagine I would check it either like 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Since I'm part of that little group.
Yeah, probably every couple days. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get on the Paranet. You see that there's a new person who's joined the Paranet. Some woman that goes by the
XX Holy Blade XX.
yeah. You think you probably know who that is.
So I look at it like,
Scrolling. You're still getting reports, and these are some of the threads that are not. You have levels of administrators, and there's kind of private areas where people discuss different things. You're still getting reports of this time a couple more people have disappeared, or they can't find Paranetters. You're now up to about 20 Paranetters that have disappeared. You're a little
Lord, I had 2 to 3 before.
Yeah, well, it's a little concerning now. It's over the last, probably not. Let's go with 10. Okay, 10 of them have disappeared now. It's you've been kind of out of communication with them, and so you're like, this is getting a little disturbing that so many Paranetters are going.
Is it still
missing.
from around the French Quarter?
Most of them are around the French Quarter. Yes, most of them are around the French Quarter. Well, or that's where they see them. A couple of them are ones that hang out at Jackson Square. Some of them are other ones, just who work in coffee shops around the area, or maybe in some of the various tea rooms doing readings. And they just didn't show up for work, and that's where they don't know what's happened to them. They're just gone. So it kind of makes you a little bit concerned. You gonna? Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I just kind of want to check up on some of the things that we had on this. Possible ghoul activity by the docks. I know we confirmed some ghoul activity by some cemeteries.
Well, yeah. Remember, the police are aware of that.
Right.
You gonna check on the Paranet about it?
A little bit, just because I want to see if it's still a thing.
The only thing you really see on the Paranet about it is that they're saying, don't go to the docks, you might get eaten by ghouls.
Yeah,
Everybody's pretty much, yeah, don't go to the docks, especially after at night, because it's a dangerous time, which, don't go to the docks at night anywhere, because it's pretty dangerous, yeah.
Because I have homeless people were going missing or something like that.
Right.
Also, one that says Hera, 12-year-old girl, maybe minor talent, can possibly see a bit into the future. Was that one of the people that went missing?
Yes.
That's okay. That's what that was. I thought so.
Yeah. That was the one that, well, most of the other people who have gone missing have been, adults. Some of them were even elderly. Hera's the first young girl, kid that disappeared, and so everybody's a little concerned about that. Yeah.
Okay.
We can't have kids disappearing on our streets, so that's bad. Yeah.
if
Adults is
there's
fine.
nothing really else, I think I'm good with that.
Okay,
That's,
cool. You've run through the scales, ready. You're probably watching National Treasure. 3 or 4 o'clock rolls around. You guys are kind of just relaxing. Are you calling him?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, Volt, Darwin calls you and says,
Hey, Volt.
What's up?
Not much. Hey, look, man. When do you think you can come by? I think we're about in the test phase for your little project here.
Alright. Do I have any appointments today? Okay. Whenever's good. I can come over now.
All right, sure. I'll see you when you get here.
Alright.
hop into the Impala, drive over. About 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes goes by, and you hear the Impala blah, 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 pull up front, blah, 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 blah.
Wonder who that could be.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a very distinctive sound.
Darwin!
Down!
You head out. Yeah.
Just go ahead, open the door, like, come on in, man.
You walk into the house. Everything seems to be pretty normal. He's got what looks like gotten to the final stages of the armor. He's got it set up. It's pretty form-fitting. He's got mesh underneath the soft spots right there. He's reinforced with ballistic nylon, and this stuff's pretty stretchy. There's even a place where your wings can pop out in the back, which is kind of nice, and it seals over with kind of a Velcro strip that's got some ballistic nylon in the way, so your wings can push out of it, and the Velcro will go pop, and your wings can come out. He's got fingerless gloves, so your claws can come out and some things like that. He's got a helmet for you. The only problem he had for the helmet was he could not get it to stretch to fit your dragon head. Yeah, so you'll have to take it off before you. But he's got it set so you can kind of basically pop. You could actually probably keep the top on. It depends on how your dragon parts come out. But you definitely have to take the bottom part off. So something like that. You like one of the little round helmets like you wear when you ride a motorcycle.
Yeah,
spike on top.
okay.
Yeah, so look at that little with the little German, the spiky helmet. No, but yeah. So it comes like that. You try it on. Do some kind of flexing. Give me a craftsmanship roll real quick. What do you get? +1's not bad.
Yes. With my base of 5 and my belt pouch of useful things,
Yes.
that would put me at 7.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks like your craftsmanship is holding pretty well. You're very happy with the way that things are holding together. You're thinking, okay, this is pretty good. You look at it, yeah, everything seems to be holding pretty well. You say, yeah, okay, you got the measurements. You're kind of looking at the areas where it may have stretched a little bit. And yeah, he's got the measurements he needs and the final finishing touches he can put on it. Probably finish it up tonight and get it to him tomorrow morning if you want.
All right.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
But we did make it to where it was like stretchy enough for like whenever he makes the partial transform.
Yeah.
That's the
Right.
go ahead and hit us with that partial transform. Let's do this.
All right.
Yeah.
You're able to get your wings to come out through the back. Of course, you pop the bottom off the helmet and can leave the little top part on there to kind of protect your head. You have little fins that probably come up right here that kind of holds the helmet in place. It seems like it fits pretty well. The way he's done it so that where it goes over your ears, it kind of fits right. Yeah, it's nice work. Yeah. Definitely at least keep the top of your head protected, even if it doesn't protect your jawline or ears or stuff. So yeah, you're pretty happy with
I've
it.
got fist full.
That's right. That's right.
Wax on, wax off.
So you finish up?
Yes.
Yeah? Head back?
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
All right. I'd probably have everything done tonight, definitely tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Anybody else want to do anything in particular for the rest of the
I
day?
just wanted to
You finished National Treasure.
yeah. Yes.
Oh, time
My
for number
movie
2.
marathon. I just wanted to not troll, but
To patrol.
Mm-hmm.
patrol. Troll.
Is she going to be trolling the paraneters?
Sorry,
or-
I'm
That's
having
what I'm
a
thinking.
crisis because the word is troll
Yeah.
that I'm thinking of. Anyway, the Paranet forums for
Yeah.
any mention specifically of either ley line issues or what was the other thing? Cats and Jackson.
Um,
Either of those topics popping up on
Right.
forums. Do I see any mention?
you see one mention of ley lines where one lady says she's mapping the ley lines around New Orleans, and she's asking for help. Not a whole lot of interest in that. You get the feeling that there's a lot of practitioners who don't really can't know where the ley lines are. But a few people say, hey, you should look at the major streets, major roads. Most ley lines follow those, blah blah blah. And there's maybe about 6 or 7 little posts to kind of go with that, and then it's kind of an old post, so there's not a whole lot.
I'll just
Yeah, go ahead.
subscribe to that post in case anything new pops up on it. I'll just keep an eye on it.
As far as the cats go, there's a couple posts about make sure you're not inside the Jackson Square area, garden area, after dark, that the cats tend to show up. They haven't done anything, but they act weird, and especially around practitioners, they're not real cool with hanging out by weird stuff because you just never know. They said some of the cats have actually been pretty big and kind of aggressive and a little spooky, so they give them wide berth, is what it is. And actually, some of those posts are pretty recent. Yeah, I saw the cats out in Jackson Square last night. I was glad I was on the other side of the iron bars, so they couldn't, get to me, and so that they left me alone because I was on the other side of the iron bars, that kind of stuff. So yeah,
I'll follow that thread also in case of new alerts.
cool.
And other than that, I'll probably realize that I haven't sent out any emojis in a while. And just sort of shoot a, like a thumbs up, like sleepy eyes, then like an awake face, just sort of thing. Send that out to the random.
You do that, and immediately you see Antoine has left the group. So.
Okay.
You guys have put Antoine in the group, remember? And so he has left the group.
That tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks. Okay.
Yeah. He's got his, no, he just doesn't want to know about your sleepy eyes.
Then
Sorry.
I just say, Antoine, no! After, but he doesn't get it because
he
he's not
doesn't.
in
Yeah.
person.
So yeah, you send some emoji. Everybody gets a text from Miranda, except for you. So you don't get a text. Your phone, you're feeling, you kind of pick up your phone. It's a flip phone. Do they do emojis?
I don't have
They
any
do emojis.
I don't think they can.
No, you see,
You just get the emoticon translations or just a bunch of symbols every time.
Yeah,
I
that's
send it.
right. And you're like,
That's like the car was like.
I think your phone's screwed up
so
again.
and so said emoji heart face plus emoji. It's like,
Yeah. So you just close your flip phone and put it down. Yeah. Everybody else gets the emojis. Anything in particular you guys want to do before I call it a day and we move on to Tuesday?
What time is it?
It's probably around 7 or 8. I mean, it's not late.
Am I feeling any better or am I feeling worse?
You're thinking worse. You feel pretty bad. You think it's probably worse than this morning, too.
So I'm gonna call a taxi
Okay.
to take me to the emergency room
All right.
because I'm never sick, so I'm worried.
Yeah, you should be. You call a taxi, landline probably. Taxi shows up. You kind of bundle up in your coat. Probably grab your umbrella just in case.
Get my money.
Climb into the taxi. Grab your money. Taxi takes you to the emergency room for the New Orleans hospital. Well, probably for Tulane University Medical Center.
Yeah.
Lets you out. You kind of go walking in there. You feel terrible. You go stumbling into the front door. I'm going to need you to make me an endurance check.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I would have gone to the doctor much earlier, but that's okay.
I think you underestimate the stubbornness of Dela.
'Cause I know the stubbornness of Jody, so you are correct. Plus 4.
All right. You feel really lightheaded as soon as you walk in the door. And you hear from behind the desk, shit! A little bit of smoke come out of a computer, at which point you kind of, I forgot about
Away
that.
from ICU.
Yeah, and so, yeah, right. And so you stumble up to the counter, and the woman looks at you and says, "Here's the paperwork. Fill them out." And you can tell she's a little irritated because her computer just went. The lady beside her says, oh, "Here, look. Let me call IT, and we'll see if we can get somebody down here to get you a new computer, or at least see what's going on with this one." And so, it's kind of late.
I walk back to the chair and.
Couple minutes goes by. Young guy with glasses on comes up, goes over and sits behind the counter. The nurse is kind of or the receptionist is kind of stand behind him. He says, "Look, I'll bring you a laptop up until we can get this one worked on." And so he grabs the computer, unplugs everything, kind of the big tower under his arm, the monitor, maybe a flat screen. Yeah, it's a flat screen. Yeah. He's got it's a little flat screen. It's like 14-inch flat screen. He puts under his arm the keyboard and the mouse, and he heads off. And she sits down and is kind of sitting there. By that time, you finished all the paperwork. You're gonna walk up to her.
I'm gonna say, I'm really tired. Would you terribly mind?
Darling, if you can't bring it to me, no, I'm not coming around the counter. Sorry.
What if I said if I walk to the counter, chances are your other computer will die too? Okay, never mind.
She looks at you
I
like,
get up
what?
and I start shuffling that way.
Are you going to try?
Hoping it won't set off the computer.
I'm
just going to sit there and I'm going to look like this.
If you give me a discipline check, we'll see if you can kind of keep yourself calm enough that maybe you won't be able to blow the computers out.
Ah! What is this? Endurance?
Discipline.
No, discipline. Oh. 6.
Okay. You kind of steal and calm yourself, thinking, okay, I'm just really sick. I don't feel well, and I'm not going to let that, kind of sneak out to my feelings. You walk up and you hand her the paperwork. And she says, "Thank you, darling." A little sarcastic. And she says, "I'll get it put in as soon as possible." About that time, the guy walks up with the laptop, sets it on the counter. You kind of stagger back to the chairs.
Be calmly because it's newer.
He sets up the laptop, says something to the lady, tells her how to log in, and then heads off. She starts entering stuff, and a couple minutes goes by, and she goes, "Ma'am, I don't see any medical records here. Have you ever been to the New Orleans hospital or the Tulane Medical Center?"
No, I don't go to the doctor generally.
Oh, well, do you have any proof of insurance?
No.
So, okay, well, that's fine. That just tells me how I need to code this. And so she types a little bit longer, and she says, "Okay, well, look, any expenses are going to be paid out of pocket by you. We do have a sliding scale based on income. I'm going to need you to make some income declarations on here. What do you do for a living?"
I'm an investigator.
Like private investigator. Okay. So she says annual income. You get a stipend from the White Council.
I know.
Remember?
My resources were +2 from the council, so that's what.
You probably get about a couple $1,000s a month. So maybe a little more than that. Maybe $3,000 a month because you have to pay for your house.
36,000.
Yeah, somewhere in there. $40,000 a month.
Around $36,000.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks. She goes back to typing and stuff like that. A few minutes goes by, and she says, "Right."
Am I standing at the counter this
No,
whole time?
you're sitting in the chair. I figure.
When I enter that, I'm gonna stumble back to my chair.
Yeah, I figure.
And I'm gonna attempt to call Miranda.
Okay. Yeah, you can. Yeah. Your phone rings. You're still on the internet.
Hello?
You're kind of down the rabbit hole, as internet will go.
Hey Miranda, this is Dela. I'm at the hospital because I don't feel good. And anyway, they're wanting about how much money I have. I don't know. I think they're going to be crappy to me because I don't have enough money apparently from the way she acts at the front desk. And could you bring me some cash? I mean, I don't know.
You've got a little bit of cash.
No, but I think I need more to pay the hospital bills.
Yeah. Are you okay?
I'm at the hospital.
Well, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll be there soon.
Snarky.
Which hospital?
Tulane Medical
The
Center.
Tulane Medical Center.
Gotcha.
And, I'll leave your name on my whatever. I'll tell the nurses. Thank you.
Okay.
This is how he gets all the money back. Medical bills.
I'm tired.
So I'm gonna get another smaller diamond out of my sock. Go downstairs. And be like, "Hey, so
Is that another diamond?
it is."
Okay, so what do you want this time?
Oh no.
Okay.
He already knows the pattern.
You don't, if you don't, just how much ever straight up liquid cash you can give me for this right now, even if it's not the full value of the diamond.
Okay, he looks at it and he goes, "Oh, wow, are these real?"
As far as I know, and again, I'll pay you back if they're not.
He looks at it and he goes, "God, it's real."
Yeah.
Good grief. Says, "Okay, look, I could probably give you $1,200 in cash right now, but that's not what the diamond's worth. This diamond's probably worth at least $2,000. I'll apply it towards the next couple months' rent. I don't think you pay much more than about $200, $300 a month in rent. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have a whole lot." He says, "Look, I can apply this towards the next couple months' rent. You're going to be good probably until March."
Whatever you can give
Okay,
me in cash, and
okay.
the rest, yeah.
He takes the diamond, puts it over by another one, a little velvet case, and closes it. He says, "By the way, my friend came by and appraised the other one. It's good. You're solid."
Okay.
So yeah, and he goes over, opens the safe. There's stacks of cash in there, and he hands you 12 $100 bills. Pawn shop, And so he closes the safe, spins a little dial, and says,
There's a
"Are you
bit
okay?
to this.
Are you in trouble, Miranda?"
I'm actually the opposite of in trouble. But I have a friend who's not feeling well, and and she doesn't have insurance, so I'm just trying to
Oh, gotcha.
help her with
Always looking for a tell you what, a charity case you are. He says, yeah.
Yeah.
He says, all right. So you grab you do have a check card, but there's just not a whole lot in the bank right now. Probably like $100.
One, I'm afraid to use the check card
Yeah.
because I'll fry everything.
Yeah.
Two, I don't feel well, so the last thing on my mind was a checkbook. I got my cash.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I normally do. So
By the way, you are able to set up online banking, and so are you because you have computers. Do you want a computer or not? No, it's okay. So you are able to check your bank accounts and stuff like that online if you want to. Yeah, and you can always call in and find out your account balance and stuff like that too. So you grab a taxi.
Do I have money?
Yes.
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 You,
Okay, thank you.
lots of money or a little bit of money? Just a little bit right now. Yeah. So yeah, you hop in a cab, head downtown. Remember, it's Monday night. Is it Monday night or is it Tuesday night? It's Tuesday night, right? So yeah. Oh, wait.
No, it's Monday. It's
Monday night. That's right, because you guys slept all Sunday night. Okay, so yeah, it's Monday night. You head down to Dela Medical Center. You walk into the lobby in the emergency room, and Dela's sitting in one of the chairs. She looks sick, really, really sick. Her skin is kind of this gray color. She's coughing periodically. Her color looks bad. She's got dark circles underneath her eyes. You're thinking she looks really ill. And when you walk over to her, you can kind of feel the heat coming off of her, like she's got a fever. You walk in, and about that time, the nurse behind the counter says, "Look, you can go back to room number 3.
okay.
Is that your friend? Is she going back with you? Okay. You grab her, help her to her feet. She really seems like she's not feeling well. And you help her back to room number 3. She stumbles a couple times. You don't notice this, but she stumbles a couple times on the way
I'm
back
just
there.
concentrating on walking.
Right. You get her up onto the bed. You've been sitting there for about 30 minutes, and this nice-looking, dark-haired, doctor comes in and says, "Well, what seems to be the problem, Dela?" Fontenot. Is that of the Garden District Fontenots?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay. So she's, I know some Fontenots in the Garden District. I was just wondering. Okay. So she looks at you and says, "Huh, wow, you have really got a fever there. Let me check your thermometer." Puts it in your mouth. She says, "Wow, that's pretty high. Let me check your blood pressure." Checks your blood pressure. She says, "Oh, that's pretty high too. Look, let me check your breathing." And she, pulls out the stethoscope, puts it on your back, says, "Take a deep breath." And this horrible rattle comes out of her. And you're like, "Oh my gosh." And the doctor goes, "Okay, I'll be right back." And she leaves. All right. And about that time,
I'm going to start my normal
Yeah,
I'm
you're,
trying to like cough phlegm up.
yeah,
so
you're
I'm just
coughing
like, bring me
phlegm and
tissue,
stuff.
bring me tissue.
Yeah, just maybe 15 minutes goes by, and the doctor comes back in, and she says, "Look, I want you to lie back on the bed," and then she elevates it a little bit, so there, and she says, "We're going to check you in right now." And so she this orderly is behind her, and you get on the bed, and they push you down the hallway, and you're walking along beside. And
You might want to put her in a room with some space, like 2 empty rooms on either side.
I'm gonna say no
Okay.
electronics, no electronics.
The doctor says, "Well, whatever. We've got to hook you up to an EKG to make sure we can monitor and things like that." And so they get you.
So I start doing this.
You call. Well, actually, you start doing that, and she reaches over and injects something in your arm, and you immediately feel very relaxed, very peaceful, very sleepy, and pretty quickly she's out. Which means you're not going to mess with any electronics because you're out cold. And she says, "Has your friend
I don't want to
been
destroy the
exposed to any other kind of biological agents, or maybe does she work with people who maybe have certain pathogens?" She says,
I see the ley line.
she says, has she been exposed to anything like that?
She
Playing Pontchartrain is just, yeah.
has possibly been exposed to some environmental elements that were
Specifically, do you know what were they?
like Pontchartrain water and
Oh dear Lord, that's nasty stuff. Yeah, we definitely need to get her cleaned up. She gets her upstairs, and she puts a breathing thing on her, and they put a tube down her throat and some stuff like that. And she says, "Look, we're going to try and see if we can get this stuff kind of pulled out of her. Is what it is. So I'm going to be doing breathing treatments with her. We got to get that stuff out of her lungs." And she says, we're not going to put her in ICU, but we definitely need to make sure she's okay. So they get her into the room, put her in there. She hooks her up to the little breathing thing, and they put the thing down her throat. She's got oxygen into her nose and things like that. They put a little EKGs on her, and they don't actually, I think, probably put anything into it. Well, they probably put, I don't know. She injects her with what looks like something else, just antibiotic, trying to clear her up as quickly as possible. You're welcome to stay. There's a couch in the corner of the room. Let me know if anything else happens. There's the call, switch right over there. And she leaves. So yeah.
I'm gonna go find a phone and give a call to Elias Dupree.
Elias Dupree, refresh my memory.
The White Council old guy.
Oh yes. Elias Dupree. Yeah.
I'm gonna give him a call.
About
this, maybe it's magical. She did mess with a bad ley
did she
line at
text
some
you
point.
about
not yet, but I was.
Oh, I'm not there.
No, you don't know yet.
Oh,
no,
okay,
no, that's all right. That's why I was like,
I
wait,
thought
where
we
did
were
you
all
find
there.
out from?
So
No, yeah.
I contacted her because
I was brooding on top of the hospital, and I overheard it.
I'm Dragon Man.
I contacted her because I know that she's with her phone like 24/7. The rest of you, I may not hear from for a few days.
She knew I was waiting to answer.
Yeah, that's
that
right.
phone
That's
call.
right.
My bad.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna send a text to the group saying Dela's really sick, guys. And then I'm gonna be like, I don't know if it has to do with our expedition that I'll put in quotation marks, or if it's something else I'll put in quotation marks.
Yeah, so you all get this text. Okay. Dela's really sick. No emojis, which means it must be serious. Dela's in room. Do you want to tell them what room she's in?
Yeah,
Room
Tulane
207.
Hospital 207.
Right. Tulane Medical Center. Dela's in room 207. She's sick. Yeah. So
I'm not gonna lie, because if all I got was Dela's really sick, I don't know if it's from this or that. I probably would have thought too hard about it.
Yeah.
But it was like, she's in this room in the hospital. Oh, wait a second.
There were no emojis, guys.
Yeah, emojis are a dead giveaway if they're not in there. Yeah. Responses. What are you guys going to do? Anything? I mean, you may just, FYI, go to sleep for the night.
What time is it now?
It's about probably 9 o'clock. Probably 9 o'clock.
I'm in my stride. So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I text back, need help.
Yeah.
we'll let you know, but if this is something else, then we might need a expert in the field. I don't know if these doctors are going to be able to help.
Okay.
You guys would know who to contact more than I would.
Well, the Elias.
Yeah. I think that would be a good person.
Yeah.
I'll throw his name.
Isn't
out
he
there.
like mentoring you guys, or he'd offered? I don't know.
He offered,
Well, remember, the only way I believe you could contact him was with the bowl he gave
Oh,
you.
that's right.
With
Oh,
the,
is that
with
it?
the
I
water.
thought I
Yeah,
found
there's.
something.
He doesn't have a phone. Well, now you have a phone number for the White Council. You can call them, and you've got a catchphrase that you use.
I'm
to,
passed out.
Yeah,
I
you're
remember
but you're
that
unconscious.
catchphrase.
You would have definitely not told them any of that information. That's kind of super secret.
Wait, Elias
side
Free,
stuff.
that's your boss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like him.
The Lucky
Yeah.
Charms guy.
With the one arm is like one side is gauntleted, big spy hanger, claymore or something.
Yeah, I cannot figure out where the picture that I had of him went. You know, I had that picture I showed you guys, and I've lost it, and I can't find it on the internet anymore, which is sad.
Listen, I could have sworn you had it in your book.
I thought you did too.
I don't think it's in my book anymore. Well, maybe it is in my book. Oh, yeah, it is in my book. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, but I just thought I kept the digital copy of it, and I hadn't. So anyway.
Because I don't remember the digital copy. I just remember you like turning it around, like, yeah, this is him in the book. That was,
Because I was wanting to use a digital copy, you know, when we get to the
Oh,
episode.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
that'd be nice, actually.
Oh, scan it, email it to yourself.
I may have to do that. Yeah.
Is there anything about her condition or the way she looks right now that?
Well, she's sleeping pretty peacefully periodically. I mean, the breathing treatment seems to be working pretty well. She's breathing smoothly. They've got oxygen on her and stuff like that. A nurse comes in, draws some blood, and then leaves. Vital signs have got the little. Her pulse rate seems a little high, maybe around 90, but it's not bad high. And then the blood pressure seems pretty normal. Again, a little high, but not terrible. You can definitely tell that the fever has gone down, but she still looks really bad. Pale, dark circles. Yeah.
So what I know, like as a magic user, about people that this being odd for somebody like her to be sick.
Give me a lore check. It's a very good question there. Ooh, that's not bad. It's even at least.
+2.
You know that most wizards are pretty immune to diseases. Full-fledged wizards don't get sick much. Other practitioners, yes. But something about being a wizard, when you are fully imbued with the power, it just keeps you really healthy. Okay. You've even heard stories about wizards who lose fingers, being able to regrow them over time. So they're kind of crazy, yeah, like that.
Okay, so I'll text the group that this is serious. Wizards do not get sick.
Yeah.
So this is, we need to figure something out.
Well, we can contact her cohorts if we knew how to do that. Or
Anybody have
Percy Lestrange, maybe? I don't know.
What about the voodoo place?
Oh yeah. Was it Marie Laveau?
Marie Laveau's Voodoo Emporium?
Yeah.
You can try that if you want.
No,
They are closed right now.
I call and okay. New message. Okay.
Marie Laveau's Voodoo Emporium will open has hours of 8 in the morning to 8 at night or something like that.
Were we privy to the conversation where he mentioned the bowl, or was that?
I believe you were. I believe you were in the room with her. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he gave her the ball.
Everybody was there, because I was really ticked.
Because he offered you guys apprenticeships, if
Yep.
you remember.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
But isn't her house booby trapped?
Yep.
Yeah. You don't have a way to get past the wards unless she gives you a way to overcome the wards. And I don't think you've gotten around to making any kind of stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
We could get the bowl from texting back and forth.
Yeah.
We could get the
Yeah,
bowl
that's
from her
like-
house.
that's what I was
Doesn't her house have booby traps? You're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
How do we contact
Yeah.
Elias?
Oh, this stuff's over text.
I don't
What's the worst thing would happen if I broke into her house, though?
That's what I was thinking.
you might get killed.
I can take it.
Yeah.
Shrug it off.
You might get killed, or you might get frozen.
I
You have to get
I don't have anything that will kill people.
right. You have the
because that would go
freezing
against
ward,
the
right?
code.
Yeah, you have the freezing ward, right? Well, no. Technically, if you put a ward there, you're not killing them with magic; they're killing themselves. That's how Harry got around having deadly wards on his house too.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I think I ended up not having any deadly wards.
No, I think you just had
because
this the
Yeah.
freezing
of that. So
ward,
it's
frozen
freezing
place.
in place, and
We
yeah.
didn't see the ring doorbell.
The big thing about it, though, is the house would just probably magically lock you out, so you could not get in. You do know her wards are set up so that they just seal everything down. And so if you set them off, it's just going to lock her house down for like 24 hours, and you're not going to be able to get in.
Is it?
Now I have a question. If somebody's been invited into my house before.
No.
No. Okay.
That just means if they're a vampire or a wizard, they can come in
Gotcha.
and won't lose their power. So, yeah.
I'm gonna call Gabriel Beaumont.
Okay. You call Gabriel Beaumont. Ring, ring, ring. Picks up 9 o'clock, and he says, hello?
Hey, this is Miranda Gagnon, or whoever.
Right. The Knight of the Cross. Right. What can I do for you?
I know that this is a little bit left of center of what we deal with, but you wouldn't happen to have like a bowl that you could use to contact White Council?
No, I work with the church. I don't have any way of contacting the White Council.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. What's up?
Well, I have a friend who's really ill, and I think that what's ailing her is sort of beyond the realm of what the doctors can handle. And I was
Magical
trying to,
sickness or something like that?
Yeah, and so I'm trying to get in touch with like literally any other wizard.
He says, well, I don't know any wizards, but where are you at?
Tulane Medical Center, room 207.
Yeah, let me come see. Maybe I know a few things. Let me see what I can find out.
Okay. Thank you.
He says he'll be see you there in about 45 minutes.
All right.
All right.
Only person.
During those 45 minutes, anybody else going to do anything? You were heading over to the hospital.
Yeah,
You'll
yeah,
arrive there.
yeah.
Bunk arrives. Okay, in the room. There's
There she is.
the rest of you. Yeah, she looks
I'm
pretty
just-
bad.
yeah.
She's got the stuff, the breathing mask on and the oxygen. They've got her all hooked up to the little machines that are monitoring her vitals. She looks really bad. Almost a grayish color. Dark colors underneath her eye. Dark circles underneath her eyes. Pretty sick. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just wondering, would they allow us to go visit her?
Yeah.
They would.
Yeah.
Because I'm not nice to you.
Well, and the other thing is that she's not contagious as near as I can tell. She's just sick.
And this is the 80s. People wait.
No, it's not. It's 2010.
2010.
2010.
They're still hip in 2010.
2010.
I'm
Only
not
12
believing
years
you.
ago.
80s, no one cares.
You can smoke inside there.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah, 2010. I mean, it's reasonably modern.
I'd probably go just for
What's your
curiosity's sake.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else?
What time did Volt leave my place?
Probably around 5. You probably have finished up the
Yeah.
final touches on the armor. You only had a couple more hours.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah, you're done with it. Yeah.
Nice.
Then if they'll allow us to visit, then yeah, I'll go.
All right, you guys roll up there. You've been there for maybe 15 minutes. You're kind of... she looks bad. Dela looks pretty bad. And Gabriel Beaumont knocks on the door and kind of sticks his head in, and he says, "Hey, let me see how Dela looks." He walks over and he kind of looks at her and says, "She doesn't look good at all, does she?" He says, "Any idea what might have caused it?"
There was a jar that we recovered from the bottom of a bunch of water. That may not be it. There's also some magical things going on.
The ley line thing, probably.
Yeah.
is what-
Ley line. I remember you talked something about the ley lines as well. Yeah.
She's been talking about it for a little while now. There's something tainted about one of them. It's unwell. It's sick. Maybe it spread to her somehow.
It's possible. He walks over to her, and you know she has this little kit, okay? And he reaches into the kit, and he kind of looks at her, and he pulls out this little bowl and puts this little piece of incense in there and lights it and kind of sets it over on the table. And he takes out a silver crucifix and puts it around his neck. And he kind of pulls out this little sprinkler, and he looks at her, and he kind of and so the water kind of hits her, and the interesting thing you see immediately when he does that is she takes a deep breath, but there's no rattle,
That's good.
and he says, "Huh,
She didn't sound like that before.
No, she sees, huh. He goes, and she goes, nice deep breath. And he says, I'm not sure this is a mundane disease. If you don't mind, if you would give me some time in here, I think a little prayer might be in order. And so he puts his stuff back in his little case, leaves the incense burning, and you notice that he goes over and he kind of kneels by her bed and folds his hands, and he just kind of is praying quietly. Immediately, you guys see that she starts breathing much more easily. And you're like, whoa, okay, so what's going on here? And you even think maybe the color looks better on her.
Dela.
Something.
I have my suspicions.
I do too.
Guys, what is going on?
Do you think Miranda could have done this from the start?
Guys, come on.
I mean,
Do you want to do
the last
something?
text didn't have emojis in it.
Is it the real Miranda?
I'm
Just kidding.
Well, I have this ability called Holy Touch. Which, if I understand correctly, if I touch something offensive to the faith, and I can compel its high concept. I need to look this up just to Holy Touch, just to be sure. But basically, I just want to see if I use that ability on her, what there's a reaction. Let's see, Holy Touch. If used as an attack, which that's not what I'm doing,
No.
it's a weapon 1.
But it satisfies the catch.
Yeah, touch to justify or compel upon the high concept of any creature that would be offensive to your faith.
Okay.
Um,
You gonna touch her and pray?
yeah.
Okay. You walk over, kind of kneel across from Gabriel Beaumont, fold your hands, lay your hand on Dela, and start praying. Immediately, you notice that her temperature and her pulse and her blood pressure drops to a more normal level. Okay, and you're like, okay, something's going on. At which point, there's a knock on the door.
I'll go check it.
You walk over to the door and open it, and right as you get over there, the door swings open, and this very tall black man is standing there. He's got a top hat on and a black suit, and you notice that he's got, the skull painted on his face. And he walks and he says, "Oh, so I see our little wizard is having trouble."
Is this Percy?
No.
No?
No. You remember this guy. This is Papa Legba.
Oh.
Just
Yeah, you've seen this guy before.
His whatever.
Yeah. And he kind of saunters in. I mean, this guy is tall and lanky. And he kind of saunters in, and he's, you're a pretty tall guy. He's probably got a foot on you.
Wow.
I mean, this guy may be 7 feet tall. And he looks like he probably weighs...
With the top hat, he had to bow down a little bit.
Yeah, right. You're about right. He actually had to duck underneath the door. And he looks like he probably weighs 150 pounds, 175 pounds. I mean, this guy is skinny, rail thin. You're getting actual, kind of flashbacks to what Jack Skellington looks like. Okay, except this guy, of course, is not pumpkin-headed or anything like that. He's got a real face, but it is painted like a skull. And he comes walking in, and he looks around and he says, well, seems like she might be ready to make a bargain now. Your eyes pop open. Boink, okay? You see Miranda praying. You see Gabriel Beaumont praying. They're kind of standing around, and you realize that Papa Legba is standing at the end of your bed, and he's got his arms crossed like that. He looks like he's 8 feet tall. And your eyes are open. The breathing mask is gone. Okay? And he says, "Are you ready to pay the piper, as they say?"
I don't like that.
What's the request?
"What do you have to pay me with? You destroyed my ward on my family that I was taking care of.
That's exactly what I thought it was.
You owe me compensation. endangering a family that has treated me well for hundreds of years. What do you think you owe me?
Well, I'd say we took care of them, so we have the contract now. You can leave.
Wow. Boom.
He ignored you.
Yeah.
He just doesn't even look at you.
No, ignore me.
Close the door, dragon form, so I can follow.
Yeah.
I will keep you in good liquor for as long as I live.
I can get good liquor anytime I want. Nice try, though.
I will look into fixing the ley line, which will help everyone.
You already owe that to someone else. You can't double play me.
How did he know? Because he's Papa Legba.
He looks at you and says, I have an idea. You will owe me one favor, little girl.
No.
Anybody got a sock full of gems?
I do.
I wish I had Harry's brain at this point.
Yeah. You will owe me one favor,
I
little
don't
girl.
think that's gonna satisfy him, though.
Say you owe him a quarter favor. Meet in the middle of the half favor. That's how it works, right?
I pay my debts, but it must be something that will not destroy my life or the life of my friends.
Why would I want to destroy the life of the person who owes me a favor? And as far as I can tell, if you owe me a favor, so do they.
No.
I do want to
Listen.
He says, but I will not ask you for any favor that goes against your vows as a warden of the White Council.
Just so you know, I won't be fulfilling
As
on any
long
favors
as-
that go against my virtues.
I was like,
either.
Yeah, pretty good.
except that I am the only one that will pay the favor.
He looks at you and his grin gets really big, almost weirdly big, and he goes, oh, we will see. And he says, shake on it.
On only I owing the favor?
On you owing me a favor.
My friends will never be included.
We will see.
As far as I'm trying to shake the hands, it ain't my problem.
Well, shake.
I'm gonna take Dela's hand.
Actually, you can't move.
Oh, I can't? Oh, shoot!
Ooh, you can make a mic check if you would like.
Can I move?
No.
I'll make a
None of you can. You make a mic
Oh,
check
yeah.
if you would like to try
Yeah.
and break free from this. Yes.
This is what I do. I am the mic.
I know better.
I don't have my... No.
Might schmite for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Tell you what, though, I can make a nice thing. You want a thing?
You want a thing? I can make a thing, yeah.
How about I will, but they cannot be asked to do things that go against their personal convictions.
The deal is between you and me, little one. Shake the hand or not, it will not be offered again.
So you said just between you and me?
All right. You reach out
No
to
one
grab
else?
it, and you reach out to grab it, and as soon as you do, he reaches over and slashes your palm
Of course he
with his
does.
fingernail, okay?
Not
and then
surprised.
does the same thing here, and when you shake, okay, you can feel the blood kind of mingling, and he says, swear it on your full name.
I don't know my middle name.
I don't know.
I think it's just
Dela Avalowicious Fontenot.
Della Fontenot.
Your full name.
Della Alicia Fontenot. Fontenot.
It's a deal. All of a sudden, you guys can move. And he turns around and looks at all of you and says, "It was a pleasure," tips his hat, and starts heading towards the door. And he looks at all of you and he says, "By the way, she should recover quickly now. But if any of you ever want to make a deal, just let me know.
See?
You know who knows how to reach me." And he kind of chuckles and spins his cane and walks out the door, and you're like, yeah.
I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, guys. I had no idea. That schmuck did that from the get-go when he first met me on the thing, I'm sure.
Actually, you ironically don't feel any better.
Oh, wow. You made a deal and it didn't even help.
You ironically still feel bad. And funnily enough,
I blame...
the face mask thing is right back where it was. So you can't even talk because you're breathing. Your eyes are open, but you got the tube down your throat.
Did they even see him?
Yes. And they
Yeah, I
actually
opened the door for
heard
him, I
the
guess.
exchange between you, but they just couldn't move. What'd you say? Sorry, Kyle.
I was like, oh yeah, I opened the door or whatever.
Yeah.
I still can't talk to them, though?
You can take the mask off and pull the tube out of your throat?
No, I would not recommend doing that.
No.
You can grab a piece of... You can grab a... Well, probably not grab a phone and type stuff, but you might could grab a piece of paper and write something down if you want.
Is her palm still bleeding?
I told him...
Yes.
I told him only me, not you guys.
Did you tell him to make you better, though?
Shut up. I'm sick.
All right.
Sick
Bring
and
me some
tired.
chicken soup.
30 minutes goes by, and the same dark-haired doctor you saw comes in and says, "Okay, we figured out what the problem is. She's got a pretty nasty infection in her lungs. Looks like maybe she inhaled some of the water from Pontchartrain, which is pretty bad, and it's not a good thing. So what we're going to need you to do is I'm going to send you home with this little breathing treatment machine. And it's got this medicine that you're going to need to put in there, and you're going to need to do it 3 times a day for 3 days. That should kill most of the bacteria and stuff in your lungs. I'm also going to give you these antibiotics to take with you as well. I need you to make sure that you don't drink any alcohol for the next week while you're taking the antibiotics, and also that you make sure that you drink lots of water. Don't take them on an empty stomach.
Got
But
that covered.
you should be fine other than that. If you're not, here's my card. Okay.
Thank you.
And her name is Dr. Andrea. Write her name down so I don't forget. Andrea Keller. Yeah, we'll go with that. And she says, if you don't recover or don't start immediately to feel better after 1 day, then give me a call and we'll figure something else out.
In my mind, all I can think is, why could you not have been like 15 minutes earlier?
And so she comes in.
But I
And
say thank you.
she comes in and she undoes the thing, takes the breathing thing off very carefully to make sure she doesn't scratch her throat up or anything like that. Unhooks all the EKG stuff like that. And she says, it's amazing. I thought you were a whole lot sicker than you were, but once we got your blood work back, we realized it was just a bacterial infection in your lungs. It's crazy.
I think that there was more. I think you and Gabriel did something. Probably Papa Legba. Jerk.
Can't
I
help
wonder if I
but
get in
feel-
trouble if I wrote Papa Legba's a jerk everywhere on like all the telephone poles and
You'd probably get in
In
trouble.
New
Yeah.
Orleans.
People would not appreciate that.
Yeah.
Probably, definitely the voodoo practitioners would
Yeah.
not appreciate that. All right,
So
so
short it down like
And possibly the
P.I.J.
New Orleans media.
yeah, that's
Would
true.
not-
That is graffiti. Graffiti. So you get your stuff, collect your things, sit up out of the bed. You're still a little lightheaded and dizzy, but you feel pretty well. She says, admitting will handle all the paperwork downstairs. So let me, or yeah, let me get you the paperwork and you can sign off on it. She, leaves. Nurse comes in with the paperwork. You fill out the paperwork. It looks like the charge for it is like $300.
Okay, we can clear that.
Yeah,
easy.
and you're like, okay. You're thinking maybe sliding scale because you don't have a whole lot of income. And so you head downstairs. They hand you the little breathing treatment machine and the little drops that you're supposed to put into it. The antibiotic, which looks like a Z pack, is what it is. And then they discharge you and you're ready to head home. All right, what are the rest of you doing?
Well, I'm staying with you for the next 3 days until this clears out, just to make sure.
Okay. Alrighty. What are the rest of you
Roll into
doing?
the house.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Head back to the house. Head back to the house. Head back to the house. You head to her house. Yeah. You do your first breathing treatment when you get home. Kind of toddle off to bed. Feel much better. You're kind of crashing on the couch. She actually has a DVD player and TVs and several DVDs.
Nice.
No, she doesn't have a DVD player or a TV. Never mind, I lied. Because it doesn't work around her. What am I thinking?
I have a TV.
Oh, you have a TV. That's right. It's one of those old school TVs with the vacuum, not vacuum.
Cathode ray tubes.
Yeah, cathode ray tubes. Those
CRT.
old ones. Yeah, CRTs.
I just gotta
Yeah.
lay on her couch and stare at that teapot.
I have books.
Lots of
Miss
books.
my laptop. I'll go through her books.
Yes. There's actually some pretty good ones. You notice that there's a few just kind of romances. Nothing really trashy, but nice to read. You grab one, kind of settle in.
The Awakening.
I feel like
Read
Dela's
this
the
one.
kind of person who would own like a record player.
Victrola. Get the flywheel going. You crash pretty quickly. You're a little tired, and Gabriel Beaumont, kind of basically follows you guys home, makes sure everything's okay, asks you if you need anything, and then heads back to, let's see, La Laurie Mansion, if you remember. So, yeah.
Speaking of Gabriel,
I'm gonna set up a threshold in the house.
Alrighty, no problem.
so we all
Living in Yellow Submarine?
saw what transpired, and yes,
Yes.
he saw what transpired.
Who? What?
Did Gabriel? Yeah. Did we?
Yeah.
Did he see
confirm
Papa
him
Legba?
afterwards
Yeah, he
that
did see Papa Legba.
witnessed
Okay.
that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe he can take the Papa Legba down.
Yeah. Before, did he walk home with us then?
Oh, he rode. Well, he drove his car to there. He has
Oh, okay. So
he has a nice BMW.
nice.
So, yeah, he's got a nice car.
So yeah, I would have liked to word with him before he peeled
Okay,
off.
yeah. Before you take off, yeah, sure. What do you want to ask him?
So do you think that that's what we were sensing in there? Is that presence or
No.
yeah?
I think that our prayers to the Almighty had more of an effect on their own, but I didn't sense a demonic presence or a sense of evil from her. I think she was just really, really sick. Lake Pontchartrain's pretty gross, and that's a good way to die. So yeah, I think it was just that she was really ill, and I think the Almighty listens to, especially those He holds close, and so I think He heard our prayers and took an active hand in it.
And so you think that fella just sort of swooped in and tried to steal the thunder, right?
Legba is known as a trickster. It wouldn't surprise me if he had nothing to do with Dela's condition and just coerced her because we thought it would heal her. He does operate that way. I've had dealings with him in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just feel kind of responsible because this whole thing sort of happened because I was like all gung ho about going on this treasure hunt. I'll tell you. About
How
it.
did that go?
Hashtag Miranda's fault.
Really well. And
So did
I
you
will.
find it?
I'll take out the sock of gemstones and sort of just like pour them in my hand.
You did find Lafitte's treasure. That's
Yeah, it was
really awesome.
pretty awesome. Here, have some. Just sprinkle a few in his hand.
I don't. My monetary needs have been taken care of by the church for a long time, and by some very lucrative investments I made when I was younger.
that's great.
So yeah.
This has just been kind of fun. It doesn't even feel real to me. Like I don't even super duper care about the money. I'm just excited that it was real. You know?
Yeah. Well, Lafitte's treasure, that's something that's eluded people for hundreds of years. Kind of cool to be the people who found it.
Yeah. It was in a stove. It was a stove.
It was a stuff in it. Wait, explain?
The gold was melted and formed into a giant cast iron stove. Only it was gold, and then it was just coated in black paint.
There's a movie from the 70s where the way they hid the gold was they made the actual car out of gold. And so the way they smuggled the gold... Huh. Interesting. Oh, well.
How did the tires not pop?
Is that a Cheech and Chong movie?
No. He says, interesting. Well, I'm just glad that Dela's hopefully on the mend and all of you came through it okay.
Well, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, anytime. Just give me a call. I've seen a lot of sick people in my time, but I've seen a lot more people get better in my time, too.
Mm.
He goes out to his BMW, slides in, and off he heads out. Yeah.
Well, that's a little bit more clarity on that situation.
I feel kind of sad that the gravity of the fact that Miranda keeps part of Lafitte's treasure in a sock has just hit me.
Yeah. Well, it's a clean sock. It's not
Right,
sweaty. Yeah, it's a clean sock.
This one's clean.
Yeah, the other one was not. That's
That was
correct.
the sock I was wearing.
You head inside, probably, sit down, read a book, maybe even turn the TV on. She has a few channels. The rest of you headed back to your place. You probably put the final finishing touches on the armor. You may have gone out to a bar. I mean, it's early for you. Volt.
I'll join a bunk at the bar.
All right, you guys kind of tie one on, hang out for a little while, catch some. There's not a whole lot of good music on a Monday, Tuesday night, Monday night. Not a whole lot of good music. A lot of the places are closed, but a few places. Kind of hang out, good cold drink, nice atmosphere. Probably around 11 o'clock or midnight, you guys head home and crash out for it. Tuesday morning dawns bright and early. You're still in bed. You're probably. You got to meet a plumber and the security guy who's going to come install the stuff. They're there pretty early. They install the security cameras. The plumber comes in and plumbs the bathroom. Get some ideas of what you want. Do you want granite? Do you want a shower? All those different things. Starts lining up a good subcontractor that works for him who'll be here the next day or so to start working on it. The guy who has going to make your bedroom send you some pictures from where he's standing in Lowe's, wanting ideas about what you want, what kind of colors you want, paint swaths, and he said he'll be there Wednesday as well. So it looks like maybe by Thursday, maybe by the end of the week, you may have your entire place at least outfitted with a bedroom and a bathroom, which is it's a good start.
Sweet.
Yeah. You wake up the next morning. You gonna head and take his armor over to him, or are you gonna have him come get it? You can head over there if you want. You got your
I
scooter.
have been to your place before.
Yes, you have. I think everybody's been there. Pretty much everybody's place.
Because that's where we went to the Never Never at.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'll just call you at that point. I mean, just gotta ask
Hello?
Hey, Volt.
Hey.
Hey, are you busy right now?
Just at the place. The lair.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I'm done with your armor.
Sweet. When can I get it?
Whenever you want to. Do you want to come here, or do you want me to head there?
Is today the day I have the appointments and stuff you said?
But you've already handled them, so
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. So either one works for me.
Alright. Then, it might be better if you come to me. Because I'm not exactly sure how to put everything and then ride the moped over there.
That's true. I've got a massive trunk space.
Yeah.
All right.
And no
I'll
junk
be
in
there.
your trunk. That's right. That's it.
Yeah.
You head over. Pick up the armor. It's all finished and things like that.
Yes.
I'm gonna do a little bit of a fast forward here. Next 3 days of breath treatments go pretty well. You consistently feel better. By the end of the week, you have a nice area to live. You've completed a couple sets, made a little bit of extra money. Not like you need it right now. And Dela, by the end of the week, is feeling markedly better, almost like your old self. You've completed a few other assignments, redone some potions and things like that, and you're feeling well enough by the end of the week. It's about November 20th or somewhere in there to probably start looking into the ley line thing. Yeah. But yeah, your lair is definitely set up as a lair. You've actually been able to actually kind of set up the little hole underneath the shipping container to be a little less of a hole and more of kind of like a squarish area where you could actually you've actually procured a safe and been able to kind of a big safe to put stuff into. You've watched National Treasure a couple times, gotten a couple more DVDs from BJ, and he has verified the gems. Friday morning, bright and early, you kind of wake up. You're feeling better. Jody, you're feeling better. You've headed home because she's feeling pretty good. And you get a phone call, all of you, from Thomas Thibodeau. And he says, I've had my friend verify the fact that the gemstones that you left with me are real. We've liquidated quite a few of them. And also, I've been able to move some of the gold. You might want to check your balance. The LLC currently has a balance of $500,000. He said, also, your personal bank accounts, I've taken the liberty of placing $15,000 into each of those. That shouldn't raise any red flags right now. So make sure everybody knows, you have $15,000 in your bank accounts, and the LLC has $500,000. So, yeah.
Nice.
It's a good bit of money. And remember, you guys all have checkbooks to write money off of the LLC.
LLC has how much?
$500,000. 500,000. Yep.
And we have how much in our bank account?
15,000. He says he's probably not going to be able to make any more deposits for a few more weeks. Because, again, he doesn't want to raise any red flags from the IRS or the federal government or anything like that. Yeah.
Still.
Well,
Okay.
that's exciting.
Yeah. November 20th, remember, Thanksgiving is coming up as well. So it is getting close to Thanksgiving time. So, or Friendsgiving.
I'm gonna send a text in the group and be like, "What are we doing for Friendsgiving, guys?"
So will she be the one that actually created Friendsgiving? Because that's pretty recently, though, right?
Yeah.
What are we doing for Thanksgiving, people? Does
No, it's just
anybody
like, I
have
think it'd be
plans
amazing
with
that
their
you were the one
family?
who actually created Friendsgiving.
Yeah.
Miranda invented it.
That's right. That's
Started doing that
right.
until like 2016 or 15 or something in college.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
fairly recent sort of.
It is kind
phenomenon.
of,
Yeah.
I just figured I was out
You
of the
guys
loop,
have
and that was
plans?
something that just kind of was always a thing, and I just found out about it.
But do you guys have plans?
No.
You probably want to get together with your grandfather.
Grandfather, yeah.
I don't know if you have any.
My family's in Tennessee.
Right.
My family's in Florida.
Jody's family, I think, has moved
My
away.
family is deceased.
Well, or your sister. Ooh,
Yeah, your
you should
sister.
invite your sister. She likes Volt.
My family's deceased.
Your dad's
I don't
over
talk
in.
about my sister.
I'll
They
say,
don't know.
we're probably in the typical dragon
I
fashion.
don't think I
off
felt
doing our
about
own
you,
thing.
have I?
Right. Well, your dad's off in. Well, Fairfax is probably off. Lord knows doing what. I mean, he doesn't really hang around much.
Yeah.
What's your family doing?
It's just my dad, and he's in Florida.
So there you go. Well, there you go. You could bring your granddad, and you're not going to invite your sister to Thanksgiving.
Who?
Your sister.
Who?
GM to player. You're not going to invite your sister.
No.
Okay. So you start making plans.
Yeah. I'll send out invitation. I will. I need a location because my apartment is.
He's got a lot of room.
I was like,
All you need's a table, and that's not hard to get.
at the lair though?
Is it the
You should get a big Gothic wooden table with like a wooden tall chair at one end and a bunch of minor chairs that so you
Yeah.
could sit in it. And I've called you.
I like
Bolt
the
can
idea.
justify it in that.
I like the idea that
Heavy
like
dark wood.
wasn't even on his radar until I was like, "Hey man, can we host like a bunch of people at your place? You know, just like little Thanksgiving like kind of thing." And I was like, "Man, I don't."
Oh, what the
Hold
I
on.
could get, I could
Wait
get
a
a
second.
very
Table?
If we feed into Volt's pride, maybe we could,
Yeah, and,
his
and
ego,
a really
you know.
nice throne that I could sit in
Yeah,
at the end,
exactly.
with all kinds of ornate carvings. You're gonna need to go antiquing, which is not too bad. There's a lot of good antique shops
Oh,
around
yeah.
there. Yeah. So,
Yeah, a lot of good shots.
were you guys gonna have Thanksgiving at the lair? I love how
guess
it's
so.
become the lair.
The lair.
The lair.
Now with the upgrades, it's no longer the warehouse. It's
That's
the
the
lair.
lair, right? You start making plans. You decide to, buy a fried turkey because those are the best. Anybody else have? Anybody else have? I don't think cooking's a skill.
I'm gonna bring some red beans and rice.
I would like to believe it's just resources at this point.
Yeah, that's true. You guys can buy anything you need. That's true. Whatever you want to bring.
Yeah, but we usually have red beans and rice. So
If
Yeah,
I wanted to
sure, you're
spend
in the
about
rules.
8 to 10K of the money that was put into my bank account, could I arrange for a surprise to be ready by then?
You want to text me what the surprise is?
Yeah.
a 3-foot tall
Just don't put it in the group
Yeah,
chat.
it's gonna-
Yeah,
28 different flavors.
All right, so you guys start figuring out who's going to bring what on Thursday. It's about, let's see, I think it's probably it's probably Friday morning, so you got about a week to get things ready.
Ooh, I'm bringing pumpkin pie too.
Oh, cool. You head to an antique shop. Yeah, find a beautiful dark table with red velvet cushions. It's in excellent shape, and this one it's got 2 big old ornate chairs for one for each end, and then really nice ones in between.
Yeah, I'll stash the second one in the back somewhere.
There can be only one.
There can be only one big ornate chair.
What you mean is you're putting away your spare.
Exactly, just in case. You never know what's going to happen on a dragon lair. I've heard legends
Dragon's
where
lair.
knights in shining armor try to challenge dragons a lot. So.
They're crunchy. You just got to get the tough outer shell off, and then they're pretty tasty.
Right.
That's right.
And then I've got a new piece to.
Yeah, right. You get your armor. You probably have probably one of those dummies that you can actually put it on, maybe a mannequin or some
It's
kind
like
of armor.
Batman style, like with the glass.
Right.
in front of it, like
There you go.
viewing
You can
case or
definitely get a
something.
glass case while you're out antiquing. Spend a little bit of money.
Sounds pretty cool.
Anybody else going to spend some time buying stuff besides stuff to get ready for Thanksgiving? No.
I mean, I'm probably looking at new trombones, but I'm like, no, I still like the one I got.
This is true.
And just that kind of.
I think I'll go around and anonymously put big donations in the Salvation Army,
Interesting.
the soup kitchens.
Yeah. You got plenty
Just
of money for that.
different little organizations, not make a big deal, drop money
Yeah.
off in the
You can put
churches,
some cash out and do that.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You're looking at new trombones, but deciding the one you have you
Yeah.
like. Are you going to invite your grandfather to Thanksgiving?
Invite your
Absolutely. Okay.
grandfather and
You get everything set up. You've actually had a guy come in and actually carpet an area of the lair where you can actually put the table. You have that little tiny kitchenette upstairs, don't you?
Yeah, I think I'm getting rid of that.
Yeah, you may need to get a real kitchen.
Yeah, or at least tear down the stairs from the outside and completely wall it off.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Just take that area out. Good, yeah. Or, well, I don't know. You can also do some other stuff. Anyway,
that's true.
anything in particular you're doing?
You give us an upstairs dungeon or something.
Dungeon. Cages and...
First couple things go through my mind. Probably go and search through the little Paranet thing. Since I have more resources now, I'm kind of curious what other little places, kind of like Marie Laveau's little shop or whatnot,
Right.
there might be where other things could be.
You're still running into about once a week one of the paranetters disappears.
Eventually, there won't be left.
Well, and what it was for a while there, it was like a couple, 2 or 3 of them a week, and so they started traveling in pairs and threes and fours. It's only when they get caught by themselves is what's happening. Yeah. So let's see.
That, and I want to go ahead and get a nice toolbox with all the tools in
Well,
it.
you can do that. Yeah. Probably
Must
buy a
be.
few tools if you want to.
Yeah.
I will be putting all of my energy into that.
Gotcha. It's amazing how quickly the day or the week goes. What were you gonna do, Jed?
Well, besides donating the money, I was gonna go do some more ley line.
Mapping? You're gonna check
Mapping.
into it,
Well, researching
right?
like.
Like what?
Well, I know that the pole is coming from New Orleans, so I was
Right.
gonna see if maybe I could somehow Because I saw the ley line, I felt it. Did I
Yeah,
have to use my wizard eye, or did I just notice it?
you'd have to do some wizard eye stuff. Right now, you're really not feeling up to that. You're
Okay.
still a little under the weather.
I'll just putter around my house then.
There's nothing wrong with that. Again, you get closer and closer to Thanksgiving, and before you know it, it's here. You guys head to the lair Thanksgiving morning, probably around 9 or 10 o'clock. You've got your red beans and rice and your pumpkin pie, and everybody's got their various things they're bringing to the food to eat. You pick up your grandfather, head over that direction. You guys, first person to arrive would be...
Would be me. That's difficult.
I'm taking public transportation, so I don't know how much that
I'm
would.
intentionally timing it to try to arrive last, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so who's going to
Well,
be
if you
What
give
time
me
is
a
it?
time, I'd like to believe I'm
Yeah.
going to be around that
Okay,
time.
all right.
Yeah, I'll be
I'll
like
be there
15
at
minutes
5.
late. 'cause
All right,
that's-
so you pull up in your
He
scooter.
said 9.
The gates open for you. You pull in, kind of chain it to one of the posts out of habit. Reach under the back where your cooler is with all your food to be kept warm, and walk over to the downstairs roll up thing, which you've reinforced and also put in nice locks. Knock on the door. Dum, dum, dum. Hit the button. Garage door opener, right? The door rolls
I'm
up.
trying to sit here and think. Last time I was here, I don't think we actually used your little downstairs part.
Nope.
I remember
No,
going
we
up
only
the
went
thing.
upstairs.
Yeah.
On the outside.
I think I would actually go up there because I would just assume that that's like where the thing would be.
Yeah, well,
Just-
actually, the lights are off, and when you knock on the door, he probably hits the button anyway. You're like, what? And you go downstairs. You step inside. Walk this way. Sorry. You notice that there's an area that actually looks like a finished room. It's got a door going into it. There's a really he's done a lot of work in here. A lot of the walls have been cleaned up. There's an area off to the side with a beautiful antique wooden table, and there's actual carpeting. I mean, you're kind of like, wow, this actually looks like you could live here. It's really nice. And you roll up about that time. You don't have a car, do you? No.
No, we take
Public transportation. He's just stepped in. You've got your casserole dish and maybe a bag of something, probably rolls or something like that. You walk in through there, and the Volt's downstairs, and he's say anything in particular?
Oh.
Welcome to the lair.
walk in. Ooh.
Oh, I didn't
I didn't
realize.
prepare for this. Yeah. Welcome to the lair.
Yeah, and
In fashion, I'll drag it out.
okay, cool.
That
Lights are all
freaks
nice.
my grandfather out.
Yeah.
Oh wait, the family are there, and I have to immediately kill them. I am so sorry.
You can choose not to drag it.
No, I'm not gonna drag it out.
All right.
My grandfather just passes out.
Your grandfather looks at him and goes, "The lair. Oh, I could bring a bunch of chicks here if I had a nice place like this. A nice place you got here. You got one of those big red heart-shaped beds in the other room too?
It's in the works.
All right, excellent. Well, I like this place. Lots of room.
Grandpa's style.
Yeah, that jazz musician. Yeah, he probably smokes a bit too. Probably not all cigarettes. Yeah.
He was a practitioner also, right?
Yes. he
Okay.
is. You come up next on public transportation. Go up, knock on the upstairs door, possibly. The downstairs.
Well, I noticed downstairs looks pretty electronic, and I'm afraid of destroying it, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go up
Please
to
don't
where I
destroy my
have
cameras.
gone before.
Right. So you knock on it. Okay. You and actually you're gonna need to be downstairs. You huff it downstairs. Actually, you notice that the only thing you might actually be able to affect is there's a few cameras around, but they're high enough up and far enough out of the way that probably you're not going to affect them.
Okay, and I'm not nervous right now. so
No, you're
I'm
not. Actually,
okay.
you're pretty relaxed and groovy, enjoying what's going on. Stepping through the door. Wow, he's been busy. He's got an actual area
wow,
that's got a
this
bedroom.
looks nice.
Yeah, there's a
Thanks.
bathroom. There's an area that's carpeted with this beautiful antique table. Okay,
I make the joke almost fit for a dragon, you could say.
there you go. You're
Okay.
getting ready to roll down the door, and all of a sudden, pulling through the gates is this van, and on the side of it's got those cool bubble windows coming out of it, that were hot in the 70s, and on the side, airbrushed, is what looks like a dragon a woman wielding a sword, a
Like
woman
the-
wielding an umbrella and a sword, a guy with a trombone, and a guy with a big gun, kind of like that. And then it looks like it's been airbrushed on the side or something
You
like that.
hear Aerosmith's Walk This Way just blaring out of it.
And she rolls in under the rolled up gate, okay, a door, because there's room, and then it cuts off. And door opens, and Miranda steps out.
What?
So is the van in the living room? I'm confused.
No. There's an area where you could pull an actual
Oh, okay,
car.
okay.
It's probably he's got 2 roll-up doors. One of them is where the Impala is, and the other one is probably just empty.
It's
Yeah.
like super metal, the painting, like, metal, not metal.
Yeah.
But it's like
Very 80s
eyes-
airbrush.
Plastic airbrush.
Yeah.
Bella's
80s airbrush
eyes
on the
lit
side.
up with hair all like out like this, like when she was grabbing the ley lines and wings out
Darwin's clutching her leg with his gun up. Like the Star Wars poster.
like mist coming out of the trombone, like circling the whole thing.
I feel like Dora would be very much like, really?
No, really?
But me, I like it a lot.
on the hood there's like a in that bubble letter graffiti style DCC on the
Oh, nice.
That's right.
I just open it up and I have like a big pan of dressing and I'm like, guys, I got us a mobile.
Wow.
It's a DCC
Oh, this is a company vehicle.
Yes.
It's a tax write-off. Yes.
we never we always have to squeeze into one vehicle, so I wanted to get something that could transport us
She's not
all
wrong.
around.
Well, the Impala has
It's a
lots of
little
room. 5 people is a
Five
little
is
bit.
a lot.
3 in the back seat is a little bit squidgy.
So
Well, it's great for picking up guys. Anyways. Well, and if something ever happens, you have to move out of BJ's, you could live in the van.
True.
Yes.
Pretty rad van.
Yeah.
Moving a van down by the river.
That's
There you go.
that's right. There you go.
I'm thinking about installing a weapons rack over here, over this window, and just.
Live in a van down by the river.
It's not a new van, guys. It is really
that's what I'm
not in
picturing.
good shape,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's kind
No,
of
actually,
small.
it's
It's
in pretty
cool.
good shape, actually.
Okay,
Yeah,
good. I was
the
able to
guy
find
you
it.
got it from, it's not new. It's got around 75,000 miles
I'm
on
getting
it.
A-team vibe.
Yeah, very much an 18 vibe. You probably got it from this guy named B.A. Baracus who had left this group, but no, I'm just kidding.
I got it from face.
Got it from a guy named Fred.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I didn't need it anymore.
Yeah,
So,
it used to be white. You had that painted over. Those hooks inside that had chains attached to them was a little creepy, but you got rid of those too. So yeah, I'm just kidding.
Save those for later.
That's right. So you
Very cool.
she hops out with the huge pan of dressing, puts it on the table, and you guys settle in. Everybody's pretty hungry. All the food smells really, really good. You go out and get the plates. What kind of plates you want to have? You have real ornate plates? Or you
Yeah, we getting dragon tier.
All right, okay. He
So
pulls
this
out these
is like
really
a
nice
banquet hall thing.
Yeah,
set up.
that's
Yeah,
banquet
I
hall
know.
table. That's for
There's
sure.
some chalices up in here.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course there are.
This
Yeah.
is,
Some glass chalices with pewter and stuff.
strutting and flexing
Yeah.
the wings a little bit,
Yeah.
kind of.
So yeah, he's set all this stuff out. The table, the food's put in the middle. You sit down around there. He sits, of course, in this huge ornate chair that's at one end. There is another ornate chair at the other end, and there are 3 chairs in between.
I know, I've got the huge ornate chair at the other end. It's in storage.
No,
There's only one
ornate
chair.
ornate
Each chair.
Gotcha.
And my grandfather goes and sits down in there.
Right.
The spare one.
Oh,
too high.
Yeah, he
Oh,
just
yeah.
doesn't. Yeah.
So
So
you guys-
old man is just like, this is where I'm sitting.
Yeah. So you sit by your grandfather. Probably Darwin
You're like,
sits. You guys are on the other side. You're sitting
I just
there.
imagine like a single tiny flame popping out.
Yeah.
Lightning.
Anybody gonna offer grace?
Absolutely.
Just checking. Okay.
Friends.
I mean, I'll pray for it. I probably wouldn't offer it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Just be like, guys.
Bow your heads.
Dear Lord, thank you so much for this found family and for keeping us all safe during these really trying times. We're glad that we're all able to sit here alive and mostly in one piece today to enjoy this meal together. And thank you for helping us find the treasure. And I hope you keep your eye on us while we continue to look into these other shenanigans. Amen.
Amen. You dig in. The food is phenomenal. Fried turkey's really good. Dressing is amazing. You eat and eat and eat and eat until you just can't eat anymore. And then, of course, as you do on Thanksgiving, you eat more. You've got probably various football games on your flat screen
Do you have
television.
any couches? Because I need to lay down.
You probably do, actually. Yeah, you
Yeah.
probably put a few couches in around the the
I
area.
bust out some fancy. Oh wait, that $1,500 bourbon. I bust that out.
There you go.
yeah.
Oh, that pappy. Yeah.
Did you ever get a new microwave after?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's still there.
I've got a toaster
That's the
oven.
only thing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Is
Do you actually? You guys probably go upstairs to the office area.
Yeah, the lounge.
and,
I'll convert that to a
There you
VIP
go.
lounge. Or
Yeah.
something. There we go.
You
Nice.
settle into kind of the new couches that you put in there that are now leather and overstuffed. The flat screens on the walls kind of settle in. You're studiously making sure that you are very calm. So when a touchdown happens, you immediately go, "Whew, that was really cool. That was really cool. I'm going to be very calm with it." So you don't blow out anything like that. You get satellite television, let's say that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and the day passes very, very pleasantly. Several of you kind of at some point doze off from the tryptophan from the turkey, and sometime around 5 or 6 o'clock that night, you're figuring that it's probably time to head home. You're sitting there.
New Orleans was playing Dallas that day.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Wow.
Wow,
That's
that's
a
a
big
big game. Yeah,
Big
for
game.
sure. You're having a lot of trouble not getting excited about the game then, that's for sure. You head down. You got the van. You're offering to give people rides home.
Okay, good.
Pile into the van. You've rolled up the door. And there's a guy standing outside the door.
What's he look like?
Okay.
Kind of blonde-headed. He's got a baseball cap on, turned around to the back. And he's standing there, and he looks around at you, and he says, "Dela, Fontenot."
Where?
You, Dela, Fontenot.
Yes. Who are you?
I've been sent by Lou. Lou
okay.
says that you owe him some assistance with the ley line problem.
Yes.
He understands that you've been sick, but it's getting bad for the people of the park.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look into it soon.
I've been looking into it. Where
Great.
can I meet Lou?
Actually, you haven't.
Yes, I have. I know about the sick line. And
Oh, yeah,
that
that's true.
goes to New Orleans in the east.
He says, well, if you want, he will meet you in Central or in Ottoman Park now. Tryptophan's ready to go sleep.
Okay. All right. All right.
Detour, guys.
I'm gonna say sorry, guys. I gotta meet him. They've been waiting a long time, but I think I have enough information that we can at least make some decisions.
Well, if you guys want to go on home, I won't hold it against you, but I think I'm going to hop out and go with her, so.
Oh, no. He looks at you and says, I figured we would take your conveyance.
Oh, that is a thing that can
My
happen.
grandpa's with me, so I was like,
Yeah.
he's like, look, don't worry about any of this.
Are y'all cool to go with us then?
You gonna take Grandpa in the van too? There's plenty of room.
Well,
Yeah.
Sure.
You gonna get in the van? Your scooter's here. You don't
I
have to.
know.
Huh? No.
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
There's room
If
for
I
it
get
in the
in the-
back.
I mean,
You can probably put it on the back.
You can put it on
You
the
know
back.
you put a bike rack on the back
Oh
for the
my
scooter.
God.
You know you did that.
And
There's no way you
and
would
it's
leave the
been
scooter behind.
future-proofed. I've got the cage on top so we can eventually put stuff up there.
There you go. She is ready.
This thing is tricked out, Daddy.
Yeah.
out of game. Speaking of which, soon Resurrection will be raffling off an electric bike.
It's actually pretty cool.
Nice.
I don't know how much.
My
but I know
engineers
that-
No, but I would
assembled it today. We
for
still
that
don't know
kind
if
of
it
stuff.
works, but we had to charge the batteries up. And as soon as the batteries get charged, we're going to try it out. So, yeah, I'm going to take it out, get them to roll it outside.
Anyway, okay.
Anyway,
I'm gonna ask this dude, how'd you find us?
Dela Fontenot owes Lou a favor, and because of that, I can find her.
Starting to
I
rack
kinda
up
give
them favors.
Smoldering eyes a little bit at Dell. I was like, all right.
Well, I knew where she was located
You don't
Um,
have to go.
because Lou told me where to find her.
Yeah, but how does he know where I live?
Oh, he didn't. He just knew where she was.
Yeah. And some eyes smolder a little bit. And
this is not where
off.
he lives, by the way. This is
Oh.
where I live.
Oh, okay. He doesn't know where any of y'all live. He just knows
I live in
Della's
this van.
located at this spot. Yeah, that's all he knows.
No, knowing what he is, he probably could care less about your housing
Yeah.
and stuff.
He says, so to Audubon Park?
To
It
Audubon
was nice enough
Park.
for him to just stand out here and wait, though.
Yeah, I guess wait till we're done.
Yeah.
Well, he also didn't want to trip your alarms, too, and stuff, so, you know.
I also had to wait for us to leave.
Yeah. So who's going in the van?
I guess I am.
All of
You
us.
are?
I'm
Unless-
taking the
I
Impala.
guess.
Is
all
Grandpa
of us-
going too?
I will call Grandpa a taxi.
Okay, yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
You get plenty of money for tax. Are you going on the scooter, or are you
He's
going
probably
to
passing
strap
out.
the scooter to
He's probably-
the thing and then
yeah,
ride with them?
I mean, if they have a thing on
They
it.
do.
I
They
can
do.
cover
Oh, yes,
the
absolutely.
taxi. I still have lots of loose cash from whenever I
Yeah, that's
cashed
right.
in that diamond.
Yeah. You take
Can I
your
drive?
scooter, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
You put the scooter on the back, okay? You hop into the driver's seat, you pull into the passenger seat, you climb in the back. I assume you climb in the back, you climb into the Impala. Interestingly enough, this gentleman walks over to the passenger side door and opens it to get into the Impala with you.
Does he get in or is he waiting?
Well, he looks at you and he says, yours is much cooler than theirs.
I like this guy. Come on in.
He slides in. You notice across his back, he's got what looks like
Look at the look of betrayal.
I take exception to that. I didn't hear that.
Black Impala is pretty cool. It really is. He has across his back what looks like a sword case, very similar to what she carries, and he kind of slings it around and puts it across his lap, and then closes the door and he kind of looks around and he says, "This is nice."
Mm-hmm.
And you take off.
I can
Yep.
imagine the conversation on Brett.
Well, he's driving.
Yeah, he turns his hat around to the front so that the bill is not hitting the seat rest.
Yeah, I'll put on some heavy rock or something.
He goes, I approve. This is good. You get he's got some weird mannerisms to him. You're thinking this guy may not be a normal human. He just says things strangely. Yeah.
They're just not
Do we-
normal.
Do we
in
know about
general.
Keebler at all? Have you told us anything about him?
No.
I don't think so.
I just know that I've been summoned
I think
into
I've
some of
just
Dela's
told you
stuff.
that I've been talking to some people in the park that live in a tree.
I think you might have that lunar tree. I think you might have said something along those lines, but
I do believe you've mentioned it to him, but I don't know that you've introduced them or anything.
I'm gonna drop some small talk and be like, so, what brings you to New Orleans?
Oh,
What have you been here?
I live in New Orleans. I work for Lou.
And who is this exactly?
Lou.
Boo.
He is.
Lou Boo.
He kind of looks
have
at
to
you.
fight.
Do you have rapport?
I thought I did, but it turns out I don't. Oh, I do. Okay.
Okay, make a rapport check. Well, okay.
All right, mine isn't fantastic. I got a 3.
Okay, you beat him. He looks at you and says, "Oh, Lou. Lou, who is the king of the Autumn people."
Lou who? Do I know who that is?
No.
Autumn
Do
people?
do you have lore?
I do have lore.
Okay, make a lore check.
Because I found out how useful that skill is, so I ended up
it's
taking
not a bad one to have. It really is not. What'd you get?
That's a 0.
No, you maybe something to do with the Fae. You're not sure. Autumn people sounds like winter or summer court, but you never heard of an autumn people. That's I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. You guys follow the Impala down to Audubon Park, and head towards the tree where the singing tree where it's got the bells in it, where you've always met Lou.
Are people out and about?
No. One thing you do notice is that, last time when you were there, things had kind of gone downhill. This time, there's a lot of junkies kind of sitting on benches, kind of twitching uncontrollably. You see a lot of people around the park sleeping under the park benches. There's a lot of homeless people here. They were not in Audubon Park last time you were here. The number of people here is, I don't know, probably quadrupled, a lot more. And so when you get out, you notice that this guy looks around and says, "It didn't used to be like this." And he actually looks a little sad. And you see him immediately walk over to one of the people on the bench, and he says something to the person. The person twitches and looks up at him, and he kind of pats him on the shoulder, and they kind of get up and walk and move on. And he reaches to one of the people underneath the bench, and you think he reaches into his pocket and hands him something, and the person underneath the bench takes it from him, and he kind of rolls over into his underneath his blankets and newspapers and stuff again. You head towards the tree. He's with you guys though.
And how long has it been? A couple weeks?
A couple weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
You head towards the tree. Lou is standing there outside the tree, and everybody give me an alert. Well, you give me an alertness check. Nobody else gets to. Sorry, because she's the only one who's seen him before. Yeah. You can re-roll that. That one is cocked.
I really want to just keep it as a plus, but a 1, no, a 2.
Okay. There's something you can't quite put your finger on about Lou that's different. You're not sure what it is. And
You feeling okay, Lou?
well, you get up to him and he says, before you can even say anything, we had a deal.
Yes, we did.
I need you to hold up your end of the bargain.
I am.
Not soon enough. My people are dying.
I understand. So, ley lines. Miranda, I need your map.
Map. Right.
Yeah, she's always got it, that's for sure.
And I did transcribe
The ley lines.
the ley lines onto it.
So I'm putting down the map. I'm saying here is the map of New Orleans with the ley lines, and then did you draw all the ley lines even way out to Pontchartrain?
Yes.
Okay, so we were in Lake Pontchartrain observing the ley lines,
And I put a purple highlighter on the one.
and there were 3 ley lines that met out here.
Right.
And this ley line right here is tainted. And I've managed to follow the taint. It was really difficult, but I managed to follow the taint all the way back to eastern New Orleans. And I've been sick for like
That same ley line goes right underneath Audubon Park.
Okay. So
And it actually goes across. It's actually not eastern New Orleans, it's western. It actually goes
western New Orleans.
It goes actually across the river.
Okay. So anyway, it goes all the way through New Orleans to the west across the river.
He says, that's fine. I need you to find out what's sickening the ley line so my people will stop sickening.
It's something further west. I haven't found it yet.
Then find it.
Okay.
He says, and
Would it help your people to move to a different section of the city for a while, away from this tainted ley line?
he looks at you and he says, this is what would help. And he licks his thumb and walks up to you and says, close your eyes. Okay. And he touches your eyelids, right? He says, do the rest of you want to see what she sees?
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Right? He licks his thumb. Anybody else?
Sure.
Okay.
No,
Same
you
for
don't.
Look,
I've told you people no. Why are you doing this? No,
Look at me.
no.
I'm on my knowledge quest now.
I don't have wizard stuff, so
Nah,
this
that's
is
true.
the closest.
Alright, this is what time we
He says, open your eyes. Okay.
I know what I'm gonna say.
When you open your eyes, you see him, okay? He's standing there. He's got these kind of antlers coming up, and you can see that there's like leaves and branches in his hair. He's got on this green, you think it's kind of a tweed vest, but it might be moss. You're not sure. He's tall, very angular and thin, long fingers. This guy does not look human at all. He definitely looks like he's elvish or fey or something like that. And then he looks at you, and you notice that his eyes are kind of smoldering with this orange and red light. And he looks around, and every once in a while you can actually see kind of smoke comes up out of the corners. And he says, look. And when you turn around to look, you see that the person who was sitting on the bench is this young man. But he looks like he's made out of sticks. And he's got a human face and kind of a dandelion down kind of hair. And he's made out of sticks. And he's sitting there shivering. And he's not a human. He's very obviously a fairy. The guy lying underneath the bench is actually not a guy. It's actually a woman, and she's got kind of blondish hair, looks very elvish, but her hair's all matted. She's got nasty stuff in it, and you notice that her clothes look tattered and torn, and she's laying underneath the real newspapers. And everywhere you look around the park, you can see dwarves. But when you turn around and look at them, they eye you with, kind of almost undisguised hatred. You see several other, people where you would normally see the homeless people are sitting there, you can see they're sitting against a tree and they're shivering, but they're not people. They're all these fae folk. And Lou says, my people are dying. You've got to help us. And then he turns towards you and he says, we are looking for a new knight for the autumn people. Would you be interested in accepting the charge, mage?
What exactly does this entail?
I don't
Well-
even know, and I'm on board for
He
it.
says, you would become my autumn knight, which means that I would use you to protect the people of the park. You would serve me. But with that contract would come access to my powers and abilities.
Ooh, like a warlock patron.
I mean, YOLO, right?
Yes.
This is probably the height of that craze, actually.
Did you invent YOLO? I invented Friendsgiving and Bucky invented YOLO.
Nice.
Do you need an answer right now?
No, but please do not wait too long.
Okay.
Okay, now, in game terms, how much refresh do you have left?
6. I have 6.
It's going to cost you 3 refresh. Okay.
Well,
But what it gives you access to is you would have access to, you wouldn't have thaumaturgy. You would be able to use the aspects of darkness, wind, and cold with your magic, not just spirit. And if you want to owe a favor to Lou, then you can tag that you're the Autumn Knight to give yourself +2. Your aspect would you would have as, I don't know if it'd be your high aspect, but one of your major aspects is you're the Autumn Knight. Not only that, it gives you access to glamours. If you remember when we played with Patrick, that allows you to create illusions, even create minor items.
Oh.
So only fairy folk can do that. You know, normal. Well, okay, thaumaturge can do something like that, but you can't do it as evocation. You use an evocation spell. It also comes with, let's see, a spear and the cloak of shadows.
Joseph.
Yeah.
Spear.
Yeah.
Cloak of Shadow.
As
Sounds
you-
real
That
good.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Sounds like a great way
I'm
not
sorry,
to get
it
hit.
doesn't come with the cloak of shadows. I'm sorry, it comes the spear, which is the knight's, I guess, symbol of his being the Autumn Knight. When you hold the spear, you can do
Literally the staff of
you can do the
office.
glamours and stuff like yeah, it's a staff of office. You can do the glamours as long as you're holding the spear. It is a weapon 3.
Wow.
Bro.
And it gives you the access to the ability called Cloak of Shadows, where you can see in the dark and you get a +2 to stealth checks. So
Weapons 3 is no joke. The
Oh,
Knight
no.
of the Cross Sword is only +1. So, like, that.
oh wait. Yeah, it's weapon 3. Sorry. Yeah, weapon 3. Yeah.
That's an insane.
But remember, it costs you 3 refresh.
Refresh. Well, I mean, I've yet to use
Right.
2 of them.
Totally up to you.
So again, you would gain aspects of harvest. Sorry, not harvest. You gain aspects of darkness, wind, and cold. Okay, because that's what the autumn people wield. And it would give you the ability to carry the spear, which would give you the Cloak of Shadows, weapon 3, and allows you to use glamours when you hold it. You can also, the spear can, I mean, because you can do glamours, you can make it look like anything else. I mean, it could be a stick, trombone,
Yeah.
whatever you want it to look like. So yeah.
Okay. Hey, he's going to do it. He's just.
Oh, yeah.
He's definitely going to
Yeah.
do it. It's just if he's going to let this guy know right now.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He says,
Milking
"Well,
the
then
role-play.
let me know your answer soon, please."
And he's pretty much okay. I'll do it.
You drive a hard
You
bargain.
drive a hard bargain. Yeah.
All right. You will become my knight. Remember that you will defend my people, and that if you call upon me as your liege lord, I will come to your aid.
Okay.
And so, like I said, if you what aspects do you have?
I've got not scared to flee,
What's your high aspect?
trombone playing, and answer.
We don't want to change that one.
Trombone playing Autumn Knight.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's go with that. We're going to change your high aspect to trombone playing Autumn Knight. I like that. Yeah. Right.
Autumn Court official musician.
Yeah.
No.
Autumn Bard.
Jester.
Yeah, right.
Really, yeah.
Autumn Piper.
Go ahead and, like I said,
Pipe.
erase 3 of your refresh.
So,
You had 6, right?
six,
So now you're at
and
3.
Autumn
Yeah.
Boner.
Oh my god.
And you may want to write the stuff
Yeah.
that goes with it.
Yeah.
You can now use darkness, wind, and cold magic.
That's a trombone.
Yep.
And then you can use the spear, which is the Autumn Knight's symbol of power.
Alright.
You can just call it the Autumn Knight's spear. I was about to hand you one too.
Alright, so weapon 3.
Yeah, weapon 3.
These are evil.
It allows you to see in the dark and gives you +2 to stealth rolls.
And plus 2 to stealth roll.
2 to stealth rolls, yeah.
Does he hand him the spear right now?
I'm afraid his character's going to turn and stab me because apparently they're mad. I'm
And allows you to do glamours. Those are the minor veils and seemings where you can create minor
Does he not
objects and
know
stuff
how
like that.
busy
Yeah.
I am?
Get sick.
well.
So somehow I need to
Sit,
get some kind of...
investigating this and that, doing a treasure hunt.
You can use either discipline or deceit for when you're doing the
Feeling more and more
veils
guilty about
and stuff
the
like that.
treasure
So
hunt by
you
today.
can literally instantly turn yourself invisible and then you
Cool,
make a
a lot of
discipline
bad
check,
stuff
and
happened
then
as a
they have
result
to
of
beat it with their
We lost time,
alertness
you
or
got
whatever.
sick.
And then if you create an object, for people to realize it's not a real object, again it's a discipline check and they try and beat it with alertness. Yeah. So you say, all right, I'll do it. And he looks at you and says, good. And you realize that he reaches behind his back and pulls out this spear. And the spear, the blade of it is glowing like the sun. And it looks like it's on fire. And kind of in the back of your mind, and you guys all see this, by the way, whether you've got this stuff over your eyes or not, in the back of your mind, you can hear this kind of screaming voice. It's kind of like it's a scream that's going on far off. All right, and this haft of the spear looks like it's a big old tree limb, and it's all gnarled and twisted and stuff like that, but it's very, very straight. And so he reaches over to the spear, and there's a part of it where you can see a little twig hanging off, and he goes, rip! All right, the twig comes loose, and when he does, he holds it, and the spear just elongates from there, and then popping out of the top is this nice leaf-bladed metal part. And he takes the spear, puts it behind his back, the one that's on fire, right? It's kind of like that. And he takes the spear and he says, kneel.
I kneel.
And he says, I dub you the Autumn Knight, servant of the Autumn people, protector of the Autumn people and the Autumn Park. Never to fall to the Winter Court or to be seduced by the Summer Court. Do you accept your charge?
I do.
And he hands you the spear. Okay?
I must be really high.
Just really. Yeah. And when you hold the spear, you can feel all the stuff it'll allow you to do. It essentially gives you fey powers as long as you're
Dela
holding it.
feels
Yeah.
bad.
And then the spear that's behind his back just kind of fades away. And Lou looks at all of you and he says, please. And you notice he's not being he was kind of angry and mad and kind of like he was irritated that you hadn't taken care of this issue for him. And he finally looks around at all of you and he says, please, you've got to save my people.
I'm going to lean back, cross my arms, and go, what about the spring court?
The who?
The spring court.
Summer court? You mean?
You said the summer, the autumn, and the winter, but where's the fourth one?
There is no spring court. There's really not an autumn court, which is why we call ourselves the Autumn People. There is a summer court and a winter court, and we are the wild fae, the ones who have not chosen an allegiance. And many times, because we do not have an allegiance, we are hunted down by either of the courts.
Exactly.
And so we've decided that we've had enough of being hunted. So we've decided to hold together as the Autumn People. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, we're gonna be on this. We're gonna take care of this, right, guys?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.